The one and only is on double G. Snoop Dogg. Da-da-da-da-da. You know I'm out with the D-R-E. Da-da-da-da-da. You know the one and only is on double G. Da-da-da-da-da. You know I'm out with the D-R-E.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. So
Eagle double G. Snoop Dogg. Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the D-R-E.
Yeah. You know the West Coast is back for all you suckers. So put something in there. Put it in there. Yeah. Suck, Snoop.
Top dog, bite them all. Yeah, I'm burning it up. DPGC, you should be turning it up. CPT, LBC, yeah, we hooking back up. And when they bang this in the club, baby, you got to get up. Cause homies, thug homies, yeah, they giving it up. Yo lot, boy, we living it up. Taking chances while we dancing in the party for show. Slip my girl a 44 when she crept in the back door. Chickens looking at me strange, but you know I don't care. Slip a Eagle double G.
Snoop Dogg.
Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the Eagle double G.
Snoop Dogg.
Da 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 da. You know I'm mobbing with the D-R-E.
Yeah. You know the West Coast is back for all you suckers. So put something in there.
smoke weed every day. It's the one and only D.R.E. Dr. Dre, love bust. You know I'm mobbing with the D.O.double-G. Straight off them killer streets of CPT. King of the beach, you ride to him in your fleet. Wood, the Ville rolling on dubs. How you feel? Whoop-de-whoop. What? Dre and Snoop hitting corners in the lag. With Doc in the back, sipping on yak. Clipping all the amps, dipping through hood. Compton, Long Beach, Inglewood. South Central out to the west side. It's California love, it's California bug. Got your boy a gang of pub. I'm on one, I might bet up in the Century Club. With my jeans on, and my team strong. Get my drink on, and my smoke on. Then go home with something to poke on. Locust song for the 200 Coming real, it's the next episode.
What is up, party people? All right, be a fun stream. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get right to it, to the nitty gritty of it, and explain to you guys what happened on me and Travis's meetup. Nothing. Travis never responded to any of my messages. I gave him the benefit of the doubt because I know he was working during the day, but nope. Didn't even contact me at all. And I decided I wasn't going to go to his live stream and say anything like as if that was going to solve anything. So whether he said anything about it, I don't know. But I do know for a fact that I tried. Oh well. So that is the nitty gritty of it. That is what happened. And because the deal didn't work out, he had went from $500 to meet up with him to an IPA beer and or a bottle of whiskey. I had no problem. That sounded like a pretty good bargain. But yeah, no show, no answer, no reply, no nothing from him. So that is what happened. I actually really enjoyed Jose's stream when in relation to the topic because it again, I'm gonna make this very clear. In my opinion, guys like George, Big Blue's actually really good at this. Barney's good at it. Explaining something to somebody who doesn't have a full understanding of what the topic is, right? Rumpus does this. George does this. George's getting better, but George still does it where they do have this explanation that no one's going to understand except for themselves, right? And in that being said, the topic that was going on Jose's, it became very clear. We can talk about certain situations, but those certain situations are better to be explained with illustration. Being able to see it. The second we started talking, everyone started talking about that, and even if I got confused, I just started jotting down lists. I made illustrations on my little ink thing just to get an idea of what's going on and how to even interpret what's being said. So I kind of wanted to go into that today. Other than that, it's pretty much an open topic. I don't really mind. Yes, the news is true. A girl came in a while ago and was like, showed me the article on TMZ, and I was like, let me verify that. So I went in and I checked it around, and yes, unfortunately, Kobe Bryant has passed away in a helicopter accident. Heard it here first. Let me go ahead and get into the chat. I'm gonna go to the Discord and see what they're talking about. And turn it on over here. Oh, now you guys will be able to see what's going on. Oop, I forgot to turn my.
Oh, hello.
One second, guys. There we go. What's up, guys? I had to fix my my speaker real quick. How you guys doing? How you doing, Circular? Doing pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Pretty much. Did that news break like moments ago or something? Because okay, yeah. But the thing that my girl was like, yeah, my girl was like, I was like, yeah, people, that happens. She goes, yeah, but famous people. I'm like, yeah, but you got to think about the millions of people that fly and are getting helicopters every day that don't, or that do. Yeah, but I mean, let's think about how many flights in between each of these big accidents have happened that actually, like, are they even considering? Because, yeah, shit happens in wrong place, wrong. Well, that's the thing. You don't hear about all the crashes that happen in between. No one cares if John Smith. Hmm? You said Bob. Babamba.
Brain tumor. Probably
Sure.
died of a brain tumor.
Oh well. We had there was the people helping James Cameron when their helicopter crashed just before he did his deep ocean expedition. I mean, they were famous producers and stuff.
I remember that.
Yeah. So you guys heard on YouTube, I'm assuming, what happened with Travis, right?
No, I
No.
was waiting for you.
Yeah, I heard.
Nothing. Travis didn't reply. Travis didn't
Oh, gosh, I
acknowledge
thought
my
you-
messages.
I thought it was like he was crashed the car.
Oh no! Well, see, I was gonna go up. I could have gone up there. I know exactly where he was gonna be at. The thing is I have this ethical issue with just showing up on someone like that. It's like that's some stalker shit, and I don't do that. So I gave him the opportunity to respond. He made a deal. You know, at first it was give me $500. I was like, fuck you. And then the other night he said, hey, bring me some IPA or a bottle of whiskey, and we'll meet up. And I was like, cool, I agree. Hit him up 3 times last night on Skype, and I don't even think he's even looked at my messages. And I'm gonna tell you right now, people
Because
may be like,
Anna Kappa's not.
people are like, some people don't check their Skype. No, Flat Earth, like their Skype is like the old Hangouts. It's like their place.
Yeah, and if you've got Skype permanently open on your computer, it will alert you when someone notifies.
Hey, Sean, I don't know if this is still accurate, but the YouTube stream can't hear Discord audio.
Yeah, I fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, though. I appreciate that.
And it was a heart attack, not a brain tumor. I was wrong about John Ritter.
Yeah, so now that we did that, the discussion on Jose's about thermodynamics, and I thank George for this, because one of the things that me and George talked about when we had a one-on-one a while ago was the issue is when we talk thermodynamics, you have to be very specific about what we are talking about, and it's very case by case because there are different applications to understanding what system we live in. But the best way to interpret it for me, and I'm pretty sure I got a decent understanding enough to explain this part because I haven't been corrected the few times I've said it, is that for everyone, for us, we live in a closed system. All intents and purposes, explanations, we live in a closed system.
Yep. Just to back you up, the explanation I got from a study.org actual educational program is that within the universe, our planet is a closed system.
Yeah.
The planet itself.
Yep. And to define that in the explanation we're talking about, we're going to use the sun. The sun.
The energy.
And this is the other thing. I think the breakdown. See, here's the thing. And then I was saying this earlier. It's not the person, because for instance, Davros, you can explain a lot of this stuff to me, and you've experienced this, you understand it, and you've actually done, changed the way you explain things, or we have an issue like we did the other day, but it's the explanation to another person that matters more than the information that comes out of yourself, right? Would you agree on that?
It's also their understanding of what you're trying to get.
Yeah. And the problem is, and the thing you do, and we've coined it the Davros, is where you talk to someone like, "Oh, you should have known this." Not always the case.
But you should, because if you're always correct, Sean, that means you know everything. I mean, fuck's sake, come on, Einstein.
I am correct. I'm just trying to give you the gist of how it works.
See, this is why we get along, man. This is why we get along.
You know, we come to the understanding that this is how it works. It's fun. It works. It works for us. Okay, so like I said, in a sense, and we got to be specific on what we're talking about. Otherwise, it does meander. It does go in these other directions, right? So we're going to use the sun. The sun's rays emit energy that enters Earth. Okay, that energy does not that energy. A small, minute amount of that energy does make its way back out of Earth.
So you're talking about like the hydrogen, the cosmic rays, the
radiation,
UV,
yes. The radiation, I'll say. Yeah. So,
wait a minute. The EM radiation really does make it away from Earth as well, or else from a satellite you wouldn't be able to see Earth.
That's what I mean. Yes, the radiation does.
But it's not as much matter as it is actual energy.
Yeah. Well, that's the next part where and we're talking closed system. That energy is taken in. And this is what's his name? I think it was Dr. Phil made this explanation. I forget, someone did, but the plant one, where the plant takes it in and converts it to make mass, sugar, blah blah blah. Well, that mass will never leave Earth ever. So that means it can only come in, and it doesn't. And the mass doesn't exit. Because it's a closed system. Did I say it differently? Wrong? That seems pretty simple.
No, so what you've said, and this is how I understand it, is that the energy coming from the sun, when the plant goes through its photosynthesis and creates sugars and oxygen and all that sort of stuff, none of that matter will leave the planet
ever
that it creates from that energy.
Exactly. Whereas we'll say an open system, energy.
That means the plants would go up in the sky,
or the plants whatever the plants couldn't hold on
it would
to would leave. Yeah, and so it would have its entropy would be as it
massive.
got to Earth. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it'd be like taking a breath every second on Earth. Like Earth is taking it, right? Isn't that how it would work? Because it would be, in an open system, it would be energy and mass.
Have we got a La La Land yet? Well,
I don't. That's okay. That's one thing I want to know. Okay, not in the small aspect of open system, but if we lived in a open system, what would it be like?
We'd have no fucking oxygen.
It would constantly be.
It would get blown. It would get blown away
due to entropy. It would basically try to equal itself out. Obviously, it couldn't.
Yeah. Well, it would be more than that, because if we were classified as a permanently open system in the way these people think about thermodynamics, one, we wouldn't have gravity, and two, the atmosphere would escape.
That's what I was just gonna say. So if we lived in an open, or how do I phrase this? Writing it down. Okay, so if we lived in a open system, or we'd still have
gravity.
I figured out how to say it. Okay, so the reason we live in a closed system is because gravity makes the interaction between coming in and leaving not possible. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, Sean. Wow.
See, just breaking it down, man. We just got to break it down.
If only you guys had done this with your gravity problem yesterday, with burying down to the center of the Earth.
We did. Actually, we did.
We did, Stingray.
Yep.
Did you? I've got to a point where I had to turn it off.
Well,
No,
why
you-
didn't you come in and fucking say something, you twat?
No, I was watching a replay. I wasn't around yesterday.
Oh,
Because
jeez.
I'm just saying, you know what would be awesome though? If we had a model.
Well, it was
Of the
easily
of the fabric
explained.
of
Who drew that? You? Was that you drawing?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, with his direction from Toady.
So,
Which is funny listening to you trying to get instructions from Toady.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, here's the thing. So Stingray is like, I have a lot of respect for Stingray and his models, right? But it was like there's not very many times where I understand what Stingray is explaining. Like when he's explaining what he's doing, I get it, but I don't get how it's done. The limitations of it, I don't get. But earlier, someone said, they said, Stingray, if you could do a model of open, closed, and isolated system.
Oh, yeah, bollocks to that,
The second they said that, I went, how the fuck does that even happen?
Well, yeah, it's pictorial. Jose showed the best fucking one of that jar and sun rays, because you just draw it like that. There's no way you'd use 3D graphics to do it or anything like that.
It's kind of like
the
model that I want from you, the Fabric of Space one. But every time I explain it, having to preface that is actually infinitely everywhere. That's like,
but then Stingray went, "Oh, of course."
Yeah, no, I can visualize that. I'm sure I can, but just when I can be asked.
But Sean, I'm gonna say something here, and you're gonna think I'm a fucking flat earther when I say this, right?
Okay.
Yeah. No. Just think of this, right? You know a sieve, right? That you shake flour through so you don't get any lumps.
Hmm?
Okay, so think of the atmosphere and the gravity like that, right? So shit can go through it, right? But big stuff can't leave it. Okay? So the only time we have big stuff leave is if it's in a fucking rocket or a space shuttle. That's the only time.
Yep.
And the only big stuff that enters is either those ships coming back or massive asteroids that we haven't seen one in how fucking long hit our Earth.
I'm sharing your screen, Stingray. You like to explain what you're doing besides just doodling?
This is what the hell was that?
I know. That wasn't me, not on my end.
Jesus, I don't know what that was, but that was freaky. Yeah, so my point is really, I just want to make sure you got to this bloody point, to be honest.
This is the gravity one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so we've got an outer layer, which is red.
Isn't it ironic that the 3D guy is using a 2D example? Just saying.
It's easier in this case just to use a 3D example.
I'm just saying,
because this is about accumulation of force vectors and actually cancellation of them. So we have point A, which is on the surface, yeah, and the center of gravity is here. The center of gravity, no matter where I am, unless I am inside it, will always be here. There is no exception to this. Now, no, let me finish. B is here, yeah? And C is here. Let's imagine, the core, which is white at the moment, is also solid. The brilliant thing about this force vector and it being a sphere is that when you are at B, you can disregard the entire red band.
No.
As if it didn't exist.
Nope.
Because all of that matter cancels itself out when you apply all the force vectors and multiply them together. Nope. It turns out at, wait a minute, 0.
No.
So red.
Yes, it does.
Red equals 0.
No. All right. You ready for this? I'm about to
wait a minute. Get this. C is red plus blue equals 0.
I need to understand something though.
Which means Barney, this is the force vector.
I'm about to blow your mind too because I heard you speaking up. Okay, A isn't the only mass that represents the gravity at A isn't to the center. It is actually the whole mass, and that is why we have that mass on the surface of the Earth. Did I say anything wrong so far?
Wait a minute, say that again.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't get what you said.
Mass v mass.
Now,
Just remember that, Stingray.
Oh yeah.
now we're gonna jump to C. C.
Okay.
C. Use the vector of gravity for C is still down, but it still has to overcome the vector that the mass above from C to A that is affecting it in its gravitational pull. So the center of the Earth only matters to know where the center of the Earth is.
So
if you look
you're partially correct. Yes, all of the stuff above you still affects you, and all of the stuff below you still affects you. What Stingray is saying is the direction in which it directs you. The close parts are above you, so the strongest force is the least amount of mass, but in the nearest vicinity to you is directly above you, pulling you up.
Yeah. Yes. That was what I was saying with C, right?
Yes. However, if you look at the rest of it, the rest of the red band, the part which is directly away from you, and all of that stuff which is overwhelmingly pointing down, it is further away, but it's a lot more mass. And what Stingray is saying, when you compare that vector up and that vector down coming from A, from the ring A, from the sphere A, it sums up to 0.
How?
Because it does.
Because it does. That's how maths works.
Because the volume, the mass, and the distances with the inversely proportional to the square of the distance sum up to 0 if you're under the surface.
Okay, but hear me out, and I want you to verify why this confusion is happening. We were taught in school that gravity, everything points to the center of the mass. A plumb bob works this way.
Yeah, actually, I thought about this after the show.
Hang on. I want to ask Barney this before you say something. So, Barney, at C, what would a plumb bob do?
It would point to the center of the Earth.
In this example, Sean, this whole sphere, there is no scenario in which case it would not, unless you are at the center, in which case there would be no gravitational forces on it.
But so say...
sorry. The gravitational forces would equal 0.
Remember, so C is the circumference. It's not just one point. It's all the way around the center, right? So if we had a plumb bob at every point around C, wouldn't at that point the mass be equal on no matter in every direction to us? So wouldn't the plumb bob actually go horizontal on you or along that
concentric spheres?
No, because this is why I said yesterday.
It's not that all of the forces sum up to 0. All of the contribution to the force from the red and blue regions on the drawing at C sum up to 0. All of the white is still pointing down.
So it's like the 9.8 is at A. Now, yes, you go down. It would be stronger, but the mass
it would be weaker.
No. Okay, hang on.
Linearly weaker.
Hang on. But the 0 part is what I'm trying to figure out. When you say 0, that means it never gets stronger or weaker because there's always a give and a pull to every direction.
Like neutral buoyancy, Sean.
Yes.
Just like neutral buoyancy.
Yeah, okay. I get it now.
So when you go from A to B, at B, all of the red cancels each other out and becomes 0. All of the red. The blue and the green are still some mass. They're right? They're not more mass.
Exactly.
Nor are you closer to it. So it will not be 9.81. It will be something smaller than that. How much smaller? Well, by how much you have removed by moving from A to B, right?
Yeah.
It will be decreased by A. When you get to the center itself, by that time, like it will decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease and decrease, and at the center itself, it will be 0, where all of the masses of the Earth cancels each other out.
Yeah, it'd be like me being at the center of a merry-go-round, and the further out I go, I match the speed from the center, and it would always feel the same because it would, no matter, every time I move, it would counter itself. Everything would counter to what I feel anyway. Basically,
merry-go-round is not a very good example for that, but
I know, but
because it's an unstable, it's this is the inverse of a merry-go-round.
Yeah, it's a centrifugal.
Yeah. So think about this. I'm going to do this in two dimensions for you, but just try and work it into a sphere. Have you seen a dartboard?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how where you've got the outer ring,
yes,
which is the larger parts, and then you've got that thin sliver that's the inner part, that's the neutral area, right? Then you got the inner numbers, which still are the same value, and then you got the bullseye, right?
Okay.
So, and this is talking about the plumb bomb, right? So if it's pointing towards that circle, it's going to be at a zenith point to that circle, so straight down, right? That line will always continue to the center of the planet.
No.
Yeah. Okay. So you've got that ring at the halfway point in the planet, right? But it's a sphere. Okay. Now, if your plumb bomb's pointing towards that circle, it's still pointing down, because the way concentricity works, you're going from the outer to the inner, to the inner, to the inner, and all points on a circle point to the center.
I've got another way to think about this, Sean, if you want. Are you ready? See if this does it. So are we agreed that at points A, B, or C, it's going to be pointing towards the center of green, yes?
Yes.
Right. So now let's do something a little bit ridiculous. Let's work out at point A, which is just at point B, sorry, underneath the red circle, how much this red circle does it. And let's do it really stupidly as well. That is just way too simplified. Let's divide it up into quarters. So we're working out this point here, and this is what we've got.
Okay.
Now you know what the inverse square law is, which means, so we've got, we'll call this section 1, 2, 3, and 4. So the mass that we've got on this trajectory only is very close, and let's call it, it gives us, and I'm not going to work this out properly, but it gives us a unit of 2. So the pull upwards is 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, even though this bit here has 2, we've got a problem. The force vector and the distance. So it can't apply 2 to this. So we've got 2 going that way at the moment, but this isn't 2. Let's call this, oh, Jesus Christ, wait a minute, 0.75, yeah? Because it's got a value of 2 here, but because of the distance, and let's say I'm really simplifying it here, because of the force vector doing this, it's got 7.5 pull on it. Now this one as well has got 0.75 pull in it, so accumulated they are 1.5. So now this is down to 0.5. And guess what? This one has got force 2 on it, but is so far away that it can only apply 0.5 to itself, to this point here.
To A.
Which means now, yeah, to A. Which means now this is 0. And it doesn't matter where we do this, it is always 0. Does that make sense? Oh shit, it doesn't, does it? Long fault. Balls! Epic fail. Sod this. I'm done.
I'm here. What are you talking about?
Oh, geez, it's about to get worse.
Sean, did you see my little picture?
No, hang on, because I'm.
Yeah, just go have a look in live stream text. Right, this is what I was using for my example.
If you built a hollow sphere, on the surface of that sphere, you would experience gravity pulling you down to that sphere. On the inside of that sphere, you would be in weightless space.
I get that part. But that's also countering the spin of the Earth as well.
Yeah, but centrifugal force has fuck all to do with what we're talking about.
There is another little kind of what was described is idealized, right? There is one thing that kind of messes it up a bit. In that A, you could have a large chunk of some heavy matter, like let's say for description purposes, let's say you put a huge boulder, a mountain of lead at one point.
Barney, the caveat yesterday was a homogeneous system, homogeneous density, and yeah. So
fair enough. Well, I was just gonna say, in that case, near that big lump, gravity would not be pointing to the center of the Earth, and it could throw away your calculation so that things don't exactly cancel each other out.
But you're talking about density differences there, aren't you, Barney?
Yeah, like if you, a large amount of mass near
like
to
granite?
You. Yeah, a large amount of mass that's near to you, right? Which is disproportionately more mass, which is more dense than other stuff, will change your local direction of down towards it a bit. Just because it is so dense and so close.
I see.
I thought my dividing it up into quarters was actually quite good, and just doing it 0.75 and 0.5.
Yeah,
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm bitter now, Sean. I'm sorry.
Anyway,
I feel it. Damn, everyone's like, hey, I got it. Back to
my little explanation. Okay, this is using a kid's little throw the sticky ball at the sticky thing, right? But notice how those lines point towards the center.
Yeah.
That's exactly what happens with your plumb bomb. Even though there's no gravity, because you're on a circle and you're on a sphere, and that gravity is going to point you down, right? Unless there's density changes, you are most likely going to be in the direction of center.
Bah? What's the relevance of this?
Okay, so you know how you said that at that halfway point through the planet, right, you get that neutral point of gravity, right? But with your plumb bomb on the outside of the sphere, it's still going to point towards the middle.
Okay, I see what you're saying. There's no part of the sphere. There's no part of the sphere that's going to give it direction somewhere else.
Yeah, unless there's a large mass that's attracting it away with its gravity.
And because it's a sphere, you're not going to have enough mass at any other point to be able to do, or the plumb bob to be pointing in a different direction than center.
Yeah.
But at the center of the Earth, that shit's probably going to spin, right?
No, it'll be weightless.
No, it won't be entirely weightless, Barney, will it? Come on, think about it.
What?
It won't be entirely weightless.
Yes, it will.
It'll be weightless, but it'll have mass.
No. Is there going to be no force vector on that, Barney?
What?
Yeah,
is there going to be?
Is there going to be a force vector on that?
Yeah, in every direction up.
No, there is still a force vector on that. In fact, there's two, but one of them's a lot stronger than the other.
Sun and the moon?
There you go. Moon.
Fair enough.
But now you're complicating things. We're just talking about the Earth, buddy. Calm down.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, jeez, man. What are you, a flat earther? My God!
Jeez, you want to add
Local system.
Wait, Stingray.
Stingray.
Would you like to add Pluto to that?
Stingray?
In a very small part, Pluto would be included in that, yes.
Stingray? There won't be, because the Earth is in a stable orbit with the Moon and the Sun, meaning that the center of the Earth, its center of mass, is orbiting the Moon at an orbital velocity which is appropriate for it. So if you're at the center of the Earth, you're already orbiting the Moon appropriately.
Space-time, motherfucker!
You will not.
Space-time!
You will not experience any weight.
Now
let me ask a question.
Now, here's your mic drop, Barney. Poof.
Yeah. Yeah.
My big
Stingray.
letter.
No. Let me ask you a question, Barney. Are you saying accumulated forces there center around the geometric center of the Earth? The gravitational forces that are accumulated are at the center of the geometric spheroid we call Earth. Is that what you just said?
Well, under the same assumption that you've made of homogeneous distribution of mass.
It's already calculated for Stingray. It's part of the system.
Yes.
That means for a satellite, the gravity isn't the center. The gravity is the Earth itself. The backside of the Earth matters just as much.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but you're talking about something away from the surface.
Yes, I am.
You would still be orbiting the sun no matter what, so you would still be turning in there.
No, but no. The point of what I was saying is, okay, so on the surface of the Earth, the center of the mass is where the plumb will always point. But when if you're in a geocentric orbit with the Earth, if you had a plumb bob, it wouldn't point at the center. It would point at the backside of the mass.
No, it wouldn't point anywhere. It would be, if it was in orbit, it would be weightless. Okay, why? Because if it was in orbit.
No. Okay.
There's nothing pulling it down.
Okay. If you were able to use a plumb bob at 30,000 miles in space, you would be... That's
at 30,000 miles? You'd probably get pulled by the moon.
Look.
Okay.
You can use...
Fuck the moon. The moon doesn't count. Okay. Here's what I'm trying to say.
You can use a plumb bob at 30,000 feet. Right? You can go up in a rocket and then keep having the rocket shoot down and equalize you so that you're stationary against the Earth, and the plumb bob will point down. The gravitational field 400 kilometers up at the ISS is not significantly smaller than it is here. Okay. Those people are not weightless because they're outside of the Earth's gravity field. They're weightless because they're in orbit.
Okay. If you were stationary...
Yes, it's not zero G, it's microgravity.
Okay, and gravity was able to grab you just the same. Felt the same thing no matter what. At that point, the mass is the issue, not the center of the mass. That's what I was trying to say before. Because again, we're taught about the whole center of the mass, but earlier you agreed that C was being affected by the whole of the mass, not the center of the mass, right?
Affected, yes, but not all of that effect is going in the same direction.
Correct, because it isn't in every direction on that sphere.
It is in every direction, and most of those direction cancels out, so only the ground that's below you is affecting you in the downwards motion. Everything else just cancels out.
I'd like Chris Berry and Slick James to come here and explain this to us. Then, if we think we've got it.
I still think the moon, the gravitational center of the Earth and the moon, if we're counting that as a system, does not equal the geometric center of the Earth.
No, it's like
no. So the center of Moon's orbit around the Earth is the barycenter. The distance from their center is proportional to their masses.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you are at the center of the Earth, which is moving along that trajectory, and all of the mass around you cancels out, you can no longer detect it. It's not pulling you anywhere. Every atom of you is pulled both ways equally on any axis, right? What turns out that you're doing is that you're orbiting the moon on an orbit which is 250,000 kilometers with a period
yeah.
of 27 days, right?
Stingray, if you would have paid attention to my streams, you would understand this because Barney did an exceptional model explaining this, and this is kind of where I got that whole.
Wait a minute, and you couldn't get how a plumb bob worked. Wait, what?
What are you talking about? Actually, I do.
Wait a minute, Barney spent all that time doing it, and then you're trying to figure out if a plumb bob goes in every direction halfway down towards the center of the Earth, because that's all I got from yesterday's stream.
Remember, because the reason I got the whole backside of the whole backside of the planet thing was because Barney, when you were explaining the way the moon orbits the moon, or the moon orbits the Earth as the Earth orbits the moon, you were saying that it's not the center; it's the mass itself. It pulls on the backside as much as it pulls on the front.
Yes. Yep.
Because that's where I was getting that idea from.
That's how we get tidal forces.
Yeah, but like where C was. Imagine where C was. I'm thinking in my head. If you're at A at the surface, the whole mass is affecting you.
But with space time, all those things are calculated into our force of gravity.
No. I get that now. I get it, but I was trying to equate the front side, back side of a mass being pulled on, but I was equating that to being on Earth already, and you can't.
Yeah, so we're talking about that center point in the Earth, right? All the calculations for gravity are based upon everything that happens in space-time around.
In space. Or on the surface, I mean.
So everything acting upon us that causes the gravity of the planet is part of that theory.
I get it. You don't have to yell at me, man. I get it now.
Oh, I haven't started yelling yet, man.
Just the understanding.
What's really freaky is if you try and work out how gravity would work on a flat Earth.
Wouldn't.
That's freaky.
It'd feel like running uphill everywhere you go.
Well, you'd have to know the geometry that exists underneath it.
Well, apparently it's 4 elephants and a turtle.
Damn right. Artuan. Yeah.
The turtle moves.
I've got a picture.
Stingray, did you just sneeze?
You don't know what Great Artuan is, do you? It is the Great Space Turtle.
Oh my god, you sound exactly like Davros. You don't know what Achua is? You don't know what Achua is? You're stupid.
Artuan is a space turtle.
Space turtle. Oh, the one with the back.
Hey guys, really quick. Did you know? I just noticed that Kobe Bryant died earlier today. Holy shit! Check on the news.
Plane crash, 5 dead.
Yeah. Helicopter crash. Holy shit!
Press F to pay respects.
They're saying his oldest daughter was on there with.
Yep.
Huh? For real?
Whoever they are.
Yeah.
I know. Somebody just told me, and I just type in Kobe Bryant on YouTube, and there's a live show going through it, like Kobe Bryant dead in helicopter crashes. So like, holy shit! That's
I said something about it earlier, but I didn't know the details. I just saw the headline right before I went live.
Who's Kobe Bryant?
The NBA player, the second Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
People argue he's better than Michael Jordan.
No.
Never.
He is better than Michael Jordan, but Jordan. What? Damn, my bad.
Too soon.
No, right? he was better than Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan was to par with Kobe Bryant back in the day.
Yeah. Like if you put the best of Michael Jordan versus the best of Kobe Bryant, it's debatable.
It'd be a good game.
No, there's no debate.
Yeah, I want to see Kobe Bryant dunk from the 3-point line.
Yeah, he can.
3-point.
Pretty much.
No, he can't.
What's up?
I like that. Pretty much. He can. Pretty much.
Hater.
That's a bullshit statement. Even
channel.
Chris would agree with me that that's a bullshit statement. because me and Chris don't agree on much.
Jordan's definitely the best of all time. There's no question.
For his time, for his time is what it
There's
is.
No,
of
all time.
There's a debate for second, maybe.
Okay.
He's
so wait.
GOAT.
So are you telling
greatest
me,
of all time?
so you're telling me
Jordan.
that Kobe Bryant hasn't shattered all his records?
How many championships does Kobe have?
Sean G.
Like 15.
Let me ask you a question.
I don't know.
15.
When we're comparing two people like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, why is it always a comparison between Michael Jordan and somebody else if Michael Jordan is not the greatest?
He was the greatest.
Good question. So Kobe has 5 championships. Jordan has 6. Not that that's the only reason, but that's a big reason for me.
Okay. Olympics.
But here, check this out. Kobe did it by himself. Jordan
he did?
Jordan had Pippen.
He didn't have Shaquille O'Neal?
Oh, shit. What? All you got to do is foul Shaq and he'll miss your shots.
On John.
I don't think
Sure.
Yeah, he's only the greatest defender of all time.
Shaq?
Shaq.
I would argue that Will Chamberlain.
The dude is a Sasquatch.
Will
Try getting a
Chamberlain
rebound
was-
around a tree.
Will Chamberlain was probably one of the best defensive players out there.
One of.
Oh, I don't know.
Shaq's definitely top
That man-
3.
That man
Either way you look at it, top 3.
redefined how people played basketball.
Maybe 4, because Pippen's 3.
Pippen's up there.
Yeah,
I mean,
let's
that,
see.
That man was a 3-point machine.
Derek Fisher. Yeah, Shaquille.
Where would Pippen be without Jordan?
Yeah, where would Shaq be without Kobe?
He did pretty good when he was on the
Have you seen Shazam?
That's a magic show.
Yeah, like his free throw shots.
Hey, Sean,
It's quite possible that there's no best player in there. That they're all so good. You could never debate it.
Okay, put it this way: when Jordan played, he was playing like Kobe with all those stars. So it wasn't a one-man show.
What stars? Who are the stars?
God, really?
And if you say Scottie Pippen, I'm going to tell you to fuck off.
Hey,
But
fuck
you
you.
also have to
Who
look
else?
at who they had to play as well. I mean, they had big
They were
names.
playing Bird.
They were playing
They were playing
Bird and Parrish together.
Bird, Parrish, Barkley.
Okay, it's like this. Okay, how about this? It's like this. Babe Ruth. No one, if we compare, Babe Ruth being the greatest, if we compared his stats to the stats of players today, Babe Ruth looks like a garbage player. But it wasn't. It's not.
Probably was.
It's not. No, he wasn't. It was the times.
No, it wasn't. He was a fat pudge.
The reason why
I'll give you a player of a game that will destroy all that, and his name's Donald Bradman. His scoring average was 99.4 out of 100.
See my post on the chat.
Oh, no, because I was about to bring it up just before you did, Miles. I just couldn't get a word in edgewise because of these freaking Northern Hemisphere-centric basketball-loving bastards.
Upside down person.
Oh, you mean because you guys are foreigners?
Well, no, it's also the fact that...
We were talking about basketball.
Yeah, and you're talking about perfection, and you brought in Babe Ruth, which changed the game.
But even Bradman was a crap bowler.
Yeah, but he was a brilliant batsman.
If you're trying to compare Babe Ruth to someone like Bo Jackson, you've got another thing coming to you, sir.
Okay, perfect. Bo Jackson compared to Ken McGuire or Sammy Sosa.
As an overall athlete, Bo Jackson, for sure.
No.
As a baseball player, one of those guys.
Let's talk about.
But you're missing the point.
Bo Jackson. No,
you brought up Babe Ruth.
Yeah, but I'm saying for the times though. You guys are looking at it as comparative stats. I'm looking at it as the times and the stats.
No. This is the best of all time. You have to compare all time.
Okay, if that's the case,
don't bring in motorsport.
If that's the case, then nobody of the past is worth a shit. Babe Ruth, fuck him. Willie May, fuck him. Who else? Any Emmett Smith, fuck him. Doesn't matter.
No. Emmett Smith, dude, that was like 30 years ago. Come
Jordan,
on.
fuck him. No, because there's people crushing their records. You said championship.
There's not. Emmett Smith's one of the top running backs still of all time, in numbers wise.
Okay.
I disagree, Sean.
I don't.
Babe Ruth had a lifetime batting average.
He had an experience. Chris Leo had an experience.
He had to, and he had to say it too. It's like, all right, we'll move on from Babe Ruth. He was like, no, I have to say this.
Lifetime batting average of 342.
And that's the best ever, right?
Anyways, if it half the panel's just like, why are y'all talking about this?
I know.
So is that batting average 3.42 home runs per game, or what?
0.342.
So what's
Perfect
0.342?
would be being able to hit every
No,
ball.
it'd be 400.
But what's 0.342 mean? What does it mean?
And it's not the best because Tony Gwynn almost hit 400.
If you're
in one season or over his lifetime.
Season.
If you're betting for the best, you're betting for 1,000.
Talking about over his lifetime, he was
you'd be betting 1,000.
0.342.
But for a batting average of 3 pitches, going for an out, a run, 3.42 is pretty good.
But what does that actually mean? So for every 3.42 balls he would get out,
Get a hit.
Wait, am I getting this right? Jose jumped in, turned this into a sports stream.
Did he really? I didn't notice who did it, but I did notice it happened.
No, he brought up the death of someone famous, and then we got into the basketball thing. Then we got into the greatest of all time thing, and then we got into particular types of sports that had a greatest of all time. And now we're talking about batting average. but still, Don Bradman has the best batting average of any sport with a ball and a bat.
I would like to tell you what
every game he played, he would score 99.4 runs per 100 balls.
Well, it's not baseball though.
Well, that's per game. He would average 99.4 runs.
What
right?
game is this?
So
you asked what batting average was.
This is in cricket. That's 0.6 below scoring a century every time he went into bat.
Cricket's not a sport.
You wouldn't have baseball if it wasn't for cricket.
Crickets every time 100 crickets would be around.
You wouldn't have baseball if it wasn't for cricket.
Well, then guess what? Sometimes you have to make things better to make them a sport. You know, like ice hockey.
I'd like to see one of your guys score 100 bases in a game.
Dude, doesn't your teammate pitch the ball to you?
No. So you have two teams of 11 players each. Right, one side bowls, the other one bats. And then if it's limited overs, it's anywhere from 20 overs to 50 overs. Right, when those 50 overs
don't you hit with a paddle?
Done with, that's called a cricket bat.
That's called a paddle, yo.
They weigh about 3.5 pounds.
You know what?
Probably more than that.
Yeah, you know what that means? That means you hit it, and more of the force of the cricket bat is used to make the ball go.
Okay, so
these
hard leather balls get bowled at you from 22 feet away at around 140 to 150 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, but
ours comes
so 100 mile an hour, right?
Ours
but this is
90 feet.
Yeah, but yours, 90 feet, right? These are coming from 22 feet. Or 22 feet or 22 yards?
Yeah, but
how does the rotation of the Earth play into this?
Doesn't. But that's why you guys have to use
like there's no Coriolis.
You guys are like using plywood to hit the ball.
Thank you, Miles, explaining this to the foreigner.
I think that makes it perfectly clear.
Yeah.
You got to read that. It's funny.
Do you want me to read it out for you?
Yes, please go ahead. Because I might be looking.
Okay. Cricket, as explained to a foreigner. You have two sides. One out in the field and one in. Each man that's in the side that's in goes out. But when he's out, he comes in, and the next man goes in until he's out. When they're all out, the side that's out comes in, and the side that's been in goes out and tries to get those coming in out. Sometimes you get men still in and not out. When a man goes out to go in, the men who are out try to get him out. Or when he is out, he goes in, and the next man in goes out and goes in. There are two men called umpires who stay all out all the time, and they decide when the men who are in are out. When both sides have been in, and all the men have out, and both sides have been out twice after all the men have been in, including those who are not out, that's the end of the game.
And you'll go to the pub.
And you get that explanation sounds like a flat earther trying to explain why gravity doesn't exist.
Well, that's cricket.
What you said, gravity?
That's
right?
cricket for you.
That's gravity. Okay.
Exactly. Wow.
Gravity denialism will be so interesting for the people born and living on weightless space stations.
Like, I heard, that was a myth.
You're telling me there's a force that's constantly acting upon us? Like they'll actually be able to do a mic drop where they let go of the mic and the mic just stays there.
How come my mic won't drop?
Like, there was no such thing as gravity. There was. You'd be like, Mike, no.
Were you there?
Yeah, they can't go.
Did you experience this downward force?
Yeah, it just goes. So when they go to drop it, it won't make that sound of thud. It'll just go poof.
As Jaron once arrogantly or brilliantly put it, there's only down and up. And in that case, there would be no mic drop. It would have the force of uppity on it. Hey, I got Chris to mute himself.
If Brian was here, he'd be like the Dave Chappelle right now. If Brian Peck was here, between him and Chris.
Why would he be the Dave Chappelle?
Because Chris is worse than him.
I am not.
Yes, you are.
Just because you hate me.
No, a lot.
He doesn't hate you. He just despises you.
I hate him.
You don't hate Chris Lale. It's just Chris. Come on, man.
Dude is so annoying. He knows how to.
And you're saying that with Chris Berry in the chat. What?
I like Chris. I like Chris Berry. I don't like Chris Lale. No, wait. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like Chris Berry right now because he's beating the crap out of his keyboard, and I'm for keyboard rights. So like you're over there typing a novel. Ching. Oh fuck.
Not an eerie, isn't it?
No, he muted himself now. He's good now.
I dropped a new video, Sean. I did a second looming test. So was it this show or it must have been Jose's where Slides Barcane was on, and he brought up an old video he did where he had a laser pointed straight out, and he like had a slightly curved screen below the laser, and then he used this dust off stuff where if you turn it upside down, it like blows out really cold. I don't know what that stuff is, that propellant, if it's like a butane or something like that, but it's freezing temperatures. Like whatever it sprays on as frost basically. So I tried to replicate his experiment or his test, but there's something in there that's making it cold like that, right?
It was the compressed gas.
Something like that. But either way, I did it.
It's just rapidly expanding. Just rapidly expanding compressed gas. As compressed gas expands, it cools down.
Dust off usually contains difluoroethane.
As an accelerant.
Although some use tetrafluoroethane and tetrafluoropropane as a propellant. It's not just compressed air.
Yeah.
Cooling.
Farmers.
I'm sorry, I take back what I said.
Farmers.
Yeah, Barney, shut up.
Did you learn that in your teen years?
No, I just Googled it and looked at it on Wikipedia.
That's good, because if you would have said yes, I would have known exactly what that meant.
Look, I just turn my keyboard upside down and go... There you go. That's clear.
So when I was younger, when I was younger, I used to actually know people that could if they heard a chemical name, they could rattle off shit for an hour and a half about it, right? Come to find out, it was because they were drug addicts and they just knew their drug and the chemicals involved. So they could sound real smart there, but were dumb as all bricks. And it was so people would say stupid shit, and you'd be like, "Oh, okay, I know where you're." So when people do that discussion, when they're like, "Yeah, so and so," you're like, "How do you know that?" You're like, "From when I was younger." It's usually because of that.
They know how to make meth, but they don't know the elements of carbon.
Exactly.
I can tell you that no polish remover contains 1,1,1-trichloroethane.
I have no idea what that means.
Because that's the chemical I used to use. I used to work for a company that made resin figurines, and when they come out of the mould, they were shiny and had sort of release agent on them. And we basically had a 1 gallon drum of 1,1,1-trichloroethane, and you put your rubber glove on, and you dipped the resin figure in this can of seriously strong smelling stuff, and it just took all the took everything off the figure ready to paint it. And it's the same stuff they put in the nail varnish remover.
Have you seen Plastic World? It actually says, "Do not breathe this in. Carcinogenic. Do not get it on your fingers. You will not get them apart."
Okay, so one of the
it's like 2-pack paint that you spray cars with. It's got cyanide in it.
Well, it's one of the projects that I'm one of the little sub projects I got to do on a couple of these sites are these things called a biofilter. It's basically these plastic boxes that we put in the ground, and it's it's a biofilter. It's exactly what it sounds like. But what we do is we wrap it like a burrito in fabric, in plastic, right? So once we wrap it, and the top layer of the vinyl, we have to glue it. And so I had these laborers doing it, right? And I had never done the gluing part. So I walk up to them, and the glue, the smell of the glue, bitch slapped me. And I looked at both the guys that were on their knees, gluing it and pressing it, and neither one of them had a mask on. I went, now I know why you guys are over here. They were content doing the paint, doing the glue, and I was like, all right, you guys enjoy yourself. Don't go to
sleep. Yeah, they were. Bless them.
I've seen asbestos guys do that too.
I'm probably gonna have to go soon, but I did just want to complete my analysis. So basically, test 2. So test 1, I used ice water and ice cubes, and it didn't, and cold water spray, and it didn't do anything. This test, I used the same thing that Sly Sparkane used that he got the light to bend. I don't really question that. I didn't get the same effect. In fact, the light didn't bend at all, not even a smidge. So I don't know where to go from there, what the suggestions are. You can watch the video at some point or discuss it if you'd like, but I did the same concept as him. So
maybe message him, Chris. He might have an idea to help you.
If you want to share the link, I definitely want to check it out.
I pasted it. It's somewhere.
Okay.
It's in the chat.
I'll see.
Post up. So the only thing.
Yeah, I was just making sure you can hear me. Yeah.
I can hear you.
What's up, Glenn?
Yeah. Sorry.
Do we want to hear you?
Yes.
You will do in a minute. I'm going to explain gravity for you on a flat Earth.
What?
Chris, really quickly, you're not going to, have you? Wait a minute. No. You know that guy that you told me to look into, Heath Moody? You know, he's just put out another video today where he says, hey, look at this observation. It must be a sphere. Did you notice that?
No, that's not what he said.
Is it not?
No.
Did he not compare observations and only conclude that it would happen on a sphere?
No, he concluded the exact opposite, actually.
Did he?
Do you have that video, Stingray?
It's just because they got me to look at Heath Moody, I looked at one of his Unreal things.
Carmody.
Car Moody, yeah, that's it. I don't know why I'm saying Heath Moody.
Yeah, Heath Carmody.
Yeah.
Carmody.
Yeah,
it's
very much.
Carmody.
KMOD. But yeah, it does look like he concludes at the end of that. I skipped through, and he says, "Oh yeah," and he compares them at the end. I saw him comparing them at the end, and he seems to conclude that, hey, sphere. If I got that wrong, that's interesting. But
yeah, you got it wrong.
Bridge. Yeah, is it the bridge with the ferry? Nah, that's absolutely a misrepresentation. He said, no, this is impossible on a sphere because you would need massive amounts of refraction in order to loom that.
Right.
Yeah, but did he seem compare it to the flat Earth and say this doesn't work?
No, on all of his ones, he always says it doesn't work for either model geometrically. And that's what he's trying to figure out, the actual refraction side of things. You got that completely wrong.
I'm not an expert. I want to see this video.
I'm not an expert in this at all.
Someone's
from what
feedback is really bad.
I'm not an expert at all, but from what I've seen, I've been on the channel a few times watching him. You know, the cynic in me it just seems like he's just working the numbers until he gets the result he wants. That's just what it just seemed like.
Well, actually it's the opposite. So for the video that Dean's talking about, I did watch it and I watched the whole thing. He concluded that to get what you would need is to get the real world observation using the quote unquote ball model, you would need he estimated about 12.6 R refraction.
Yeah, double. Yeah. And that's it. Okay. He doesn't do it disingenuous.
Okay, but that's the problem.
But why is 12.6 unreasonable? 7.6 is just the general refraction.
And that might be you.
It's clean.
That was Glame. You had some major feedback on your mic there, which is odd since you're a musician.
Step away from the amplifier.
He's plugged in, ready to go.
He's standing right next to a Marshall stack.
I haven't watched your video yet. We'll watch it if you want to.
Yeah, that's just what it seemed like to me.
Go for it. It's not a big deal. Like, yeah, I mean, you can bring it up if you want.
You don't add it up for a second.
I hate to be anticlimactic, but there's really, other than nothing happening, I mean, that's basically it. I didn't get any looming. There really was no refraction at all. You see the laser through the smoke or the haze, but that's just a straight laser. There's a part 3/4 or so of the way in where I do a view where I have the laser pointed towards against a backdrop, and then I do the spray again, just because that way you'd see if the laser is actually moving up or down, and it doesn't move at all.
I mean, I stayed on some of the videos for quite a while.
Okay.
He doesn't tend to talk very much. It's not very entertaining. But
okay,
it really
so
did seem like to me that he was fiddly.
C4 says I should watch Sly's first and then watch yours.
That's fine. I don't know how to get slides. I honestly don't even know if it's online. I think he played it from his computer. So you'd have to go to the Hangout where he showed it on Jose's, and I couldn't even tell you which.
Okay, I see.
Which episode it was or the minute mark.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't an upload. It was in a stream. Okay.
That's what I believe. So, and I mean, I'm not questioning what Sly did. I just couldn't replicate it using dirt and soil as my mound, and the laser is pointed. It's at about I'd say a 5 to 6 or 7 degree incline, and then I lower the camera just to basically a point where you couldn't see the actual laser light any longer, and then I used the same dust off or whatever to try and basically you're trying to get a temperature variation and trying to cause some sort of refraction or looming or whatever. But
what did he use for the coolant, or what did he use to actually create a temperature differential, Chris?
The same stuff I use, which is that dust off stuff where if you turn it upside down, you spray it sprays like sub freezing temperatures.
Okay, I got it up on the YouTube. Let me make it so you guys can see. Should be able. And you can talk, Christian. Here through it. We don't need to listen to it, right?
Wait a minute, are you using dirt?
Dirt.
And
he's getting right down to the dirt of it. Come on.
Gleam, I think we ought to look at your flat Earth camera in a second.
We should. Can we do gravity first, though? Bugsy gravity first. I mentioned it first. No.
Wait a minute. This is your camera. I've even called it Gleam Cam.
I know. Have you put the little copyright symbol there, though? Because I have got an enterprise to think about.
I'm not really sure about what's happening. I see what you're doing, but I'm not sure what we're expecting because I haven't seen slides.
Yeah.
Well, basically, he gets a movement of the laser light doing this technique.
So where's your camera that's on the destination laser point?
Yeah, all you're doing is pointing it up. How do we know there's not a curve in the opposite direction?
I think you might have missed. So he's measuring a small change and increasing the visual effect of that change by going all the way downstream to where the laser's hitting a wall a long way away. And he's got a camera on that to show that over the course of 30 foot doing this moves it, in a pattern, 1 centimeter. There's no way you'd see it visually like this, is there? Have you got another camera where you're looking at the target where the laser is pointed? Chris.
No reply came the answer.
He might have had to go. I think he was saying he was going, wasn't he?
Hello?
Oh, yeah, you're back.
No, he's here. He's here.
Yeah, well, for some reason, when I click on the live to watch the video, it cuts my audio. I don't know why it does that. Dean, I heard what you said. Sean, if you just scroll forward about 3/4, yeah, I do what Dean you're asking, which is pointing it at the backdrop, and you actually see the pin of the laser light itself.
3/4 the way you said?
Yeah, somewhere around.
About 6 minutes.
Here, let me just.
And how far is the laser traveling at this point, Chris?
Actually, about 8. Just do like 8 minutes is fine.
Okay.
Laser.
8 minutes. That's like at the end.
It's a 9 minute 10 second video, but 8 minutes.
8 minutes right now.
It's like probably 5 feet to the backdrop.
Yeah, I think he was doing more like 30 feet, and the angle of incidence on the laser wasn't pointed up. It was across the surface that he was creating a gradient on.
Mine was across the surface of the dirt, though. You have to realize that, right?
Chris, I have a question. How do you have grass? What do you guys do?
What?
I know Texas, dude. You guys shouldn't have grass. Where'd you get grass?
Shouldn't have grass?
Yeah, your guys' grass is crap. You guys have fields, and it's all desert looking.
And grass is crap. What are you talking about?
I know, but when I went there, it was very difficult to see a green grass in a yard.
Oh, and actually, that's only that bad because we put in a new trampoline, and I had to level it out a little bit, so I had to dig, and it kind of tore up the yard some. But
I thought the Earth was level.
Shut up, Chris.
That's why I hate you.
That's funny,
know, right? You wonder why I just dislike you to all bits and pieces, Chris Lale.
And listen, I'm not saying this disproves looming or anything. I just was trying to replicate what Sly did. And so again, if there's any suggestions, if it's distant, like here's the problem though. If you say,
luck in the honesty, Chris.
Problem I have though is if you say, well, you didn't do it exactly like Sly's. Well, okay, do I have to do it exactly like his? Does that mean that if it's not that exact distance and scale,
that's what replicate means, though.
To replicate an experiment, you have to do what they do.
No, stop. No, I see
Yes,
exactly.
Sean.
No, I see exactly what. No, that's not correct. Because that's like saying, okay, if you're going to do the Cavendish, you have to do the same.
You have to do it. You have to use the same parameters.
No,
yes.
you have to use the same machine. You have to use the same.
No, parameters and relative
aluminum.
scale, Sean.
No.
Parameters and relative scale.
Okay.
Let's bring relative scale into this because we both know scale is important.
How about this?
Don't we?
Einstein. Shush.
Wait. So if Chris can't afford to get the same supplies that Sly does that mean Chris can't do the experiment?
No, but he's got to stick to the same scale.
Okay, that's what he's asking about. You guys are attacking him.
Yeah. So no. All I was going to say.
We're attacking you, Sean.
No.
Yeah. I was attacking you because scale is a thing that you need to be aware of.
Guys, you don't have to.
Stingray.
Stingray. You don't have to repeat. You don't have to repeat the experiment exactly the same way. What you have to do is report exactly what you did and present your results. Then people can consider whether the way you repeated the experiment has had an effect on the results that you've obtained.
Yeah.
Yes, but if the scale is different, then the effect will be different.
Stingray.
Can I just suggest something to Chris?
But Stingray.
Chris. Yeah. Okay. What?
But will you take 10-15 minutes out of your busy time to explain to me this whole scaling issue that you have with me? Because I don't understand what you're yelling at me for.
Okay. Yeah. No. Just
yell at him, Stingray.
Scale is very important. You know that.
Okay. But continue this conversation. We'll do that some other time.
Yeah. No, Chris, what we're saying is what I saw, because I was on that stream that Sly came in. So there's two very important things there. One is in a short distance, even 30 foot, you are not going to bend a laser synthetically by making layers that much at all. So in order to do that, you have to concentrate the effect by having the laser incredibly close to a surface that he sprays that onto, thus creating layers that actually affect the laser to a large magnitude. But that large magnitude was only visible 30 foot down the line or 40 foot down the line, where the laser's pinpointed on that board, and it's only moving it very slightly. For you to see that same effect in 5 foot when you're pointing the laser away from the surface upwards, I don't know that you ever could be. I don't think you'd ever be able to do that. Is my opinion.
I mean, again, I don't necessarily agree that I have to have it, the setup identical.
Not identical, but you have to. So you only have to understand two. Let's go through the premises that you have to do. You cannot affect the laser very much at all if any significant distance between the contact surface and the laser exists. So looking at his experiment, he was 2 mil to 5 mil above the surface. You might be a centimeter to start with, but you pointed upwards, which means it's pretty irrelevant after that point. You would need to.
So I made it to where the laser was just off of the surface of the dirt. Like you're using centimeters and whatever. I don't. I'm interested in.
Oh Jesus.
Whatever. I mean, it was probably. If I had, I didn't measure, of course, but if I had to guess based on how I set it up, it's probably 1/8 of an inch off of the dirt. I mean, I set it up to where the laser, I had my hand in front, and then the dirt, I moved the laser to where the laser was hitting the dirt, and then I moved it, you're talking ever such slight degrees to where it was no longer hitting the dirt, and then I'd stop, right? So in other words, it wasn't half an inch off the dirt. It was it was 1/8 of an inch off the dirt.
No.
Chris, sorry, guys, but Chris, what was your objective when you did this? Was it to repeat Sly's observation, or was it to?
Oh, there's a couple of objectives.
His observation was wrong.
Yeah, there's a couple. No, it wasn't to show it was wrong. It was to try and repeat it. And so far, no one's repeated it as far as I could tell. But I might be the first to try. That's not what I'm saying, right? But the objective was to see if I
trying to repeat it. Then you want to get it as close to the conditions that he had as possible.
Well, that's why I said there's more than one reason. So the other reason is to see if I could use something like dirt or a hill or real world elements to bend the laser light around. Because what we're told is that the laser or that these looming objects are being bent around the Earth. So Sly used
using it so close to the ground and going up.
Now you're digging me because I was too close to the ground?
No. I'm talking to you about distances.
I think the general point, Chris, is your laser was pointed up, which means after the first half a centimeter, it's pretty much the temperature differential between the ground, which is not a very good absorber of the of the temperature, whereas that perspex is, and it's quite uniform, would be able to create this graduation, whereas you're not going to get it with the dirt. And because you're pointed upwards, after the first centimeter, you're so high that the temperature.
Why can't I get it with the dirt?
I would suspect that it would just. You might get some if you could get close enough to the ground, and that ground was flat enough. I don't know, but that ground would have to be fairly level, and it'd have to be over the course of, let's say, 30 centimeters, where the laser is 1 or 2. Oh God, less than an eighth of an inch off. I don't know inches. Jesus Christ!
They still work in Roman, don't they?
1/16th of an inch away from the surface, all the way along the surface that you are spraying that container onto, and then you're measuring the laser at the far, a significant distance away enough to see the movement. And the more movement you want to test, or the greater magnitude that you want to reveal visually, just extend the distance of the laser further and further away.
So if I was doing this,
Maeve has posted the.
Okay, can I tell Chris good job for doing this experiment?
Yeah,
now try to do the same experiment except tip the laser a little bit at an angle and keep tipping it and see if you can reach and match what Sly was trying to show.
So if I was doing this experiment, I would try to repeat what Sly did, and then, Chris, the right thing to do is to then try and alter the medium underneath the laser, if that's what you're wanting to test, and see how that affects things. But if you first demonstrated the same effect, then you've shown that that's real. Then you change things one at a time, in a controlled way, so that you get results that you can interpret.
Are you there, Sean?
Yeah.
You've got Sly's experiment in the chat.
Yeah, actually, there's a couple experiments in there, and I was watching the one with the Dr. Pepper can. That one's really cool.
I don't get what is a Dr. Pepper. I see that too, but what is he supposed to be showing with that?
I see what
he's showing the effect that it has on optics, on the with the
Okay, here's.
I'm not sure if it's the liquid air, if it's the duster can or not, but I wasn't. I was kind of listening.
He's using the dust can. All I can see is that is showing that it's spraying the cold onto the can. It's not really.
Yeah, and then if you look at where his camera is set up and you see where the edge of the can is, you can see where the back wall, the image dances in the background. Right over on the right hand side of where he sprays that freezing, you can see the black, and it's kind of fading in and out a little bit, and that's the background on the wall.
Oh, look at him. He uses full synthetic motor oil. Nice.
Oh, yeah. Really the best.
New cars have to use full synthetic, right? I know mine doesn't. It's like 7 years old.
No, not all new cars have to use full synthetic.
Really?
Nope.
Turbo diesels like it.
Some use a blend.
Yeah, some use a semi. Our diesel uses 5-weight 30 semi-synthetic or full synthetic, but not mineral.
Yeah. Yeah, mine's on 530.
So, I mean, one complaint I'd have for Sly is, you know, I would ask him, like, why didn't you, you know, if you want to do this the way he did it one time to see if it bends it, fine, but why didn't he go and do something like I tried where it was like over a real world surface, right? I mean, he used a plexiglass, like, or not plexiglass, but a iPad screen that might have some property to it that also is causing that effect. You know, I just don't know.
Don't iPads exist in the real world? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, are they not made from minerals that come from the planet?
Yes, they do.
Oh, if you think there's iPad glass all over the planet that's curving these things up and looming, that's up to you. But
well,
obviously
actually,
that's not the case.
There
so
is. It's called sand. It's called
I'd
sand.
like to see. Okay, well then he can do it over sand. He can do it over dirt. He can do it over some natural
but here's
earth.
the thing. No, you're putting in parameters that you want for his experiment.
Oh, because you can do it's like a 3D program model. You can make it do
but
anything.
All he's doing is showing that an atmospheric change will bend the light.
I didn't get the same
That's all he's trying
effect,
to do.
so I'm trying to figure out why. Like, why did he get that effect but I didn't when I did the same?
You didn't try to get the same effect, Chris. You didn't try. You did something different. You did something different.
I did the same
Instead
thing.
of trying to do the same thing. If you'd done the same thing and got the same effect, then you can say, okay, this is a real effect. Now, what happens when I change one parameter within that setup? For example, the medium over which the laser's being passed. So, but you didn't try to create the same effect.
I tried to get the laser light to bend in one direction or another.
Yeah, but two things, okay? So yours went up and it was buried in dirt. Sly's is up on a seat or a trestle or something, pointing straight across at a target.
What? So the laser light won't bend if it's...
Yeah, but if it was only a 0.5 millimeter or a 1/32 of an inch change, how would you notice it with just the camera?
Well, you can tell. I mean, it's either going to move or it's not.
Well, you can see 1/32 of an inch.
His move's way more than 1/32 of an inch.
No,
his move's about 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah, but did you hear what I said? If it moved 1/32 of an inch, you wouldn't see it.
Then
you're saying you could.
Negligible. Then it's negligible and it doesn't matter.
No, that's not negligible. That's still a movement.
Yeah.
Correct? Exactly. So you had nothing to measure it against.
A room horizon.
You had nothing to measure it against. No scale.
I mean, look, his moves like an inch. I couldn't believe how much he got his to move. So again, what is he doing so different that he's getting an inch?
He had a measuring stick. He had a ruler, so you could see how much it moved.
But that's not a problem. On mine, you can draw a straight line across it or use your mouse pointer, and it doesn't move relative from that position.
You need a physical scale to see the action, not draw it on there after the fact.
There could be other factors at play as well because of the air temperature. Did both of you record the air temperature? Because that's a differential.
Yeah. Well, mine was 59 degrees. I don't know what his was.
There could be many other things. Sunshine.
Sure. Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that my one test is the be all end all that I just debunked anything. I'm just saying
you just tried it and
using the same dust off and the same sort of setup where I used, instead of using an iPad screen, I used dirt. But the same dust off and the same, I mean, look, 60 degrees from the dust off, the variation is, I mean, that's massive, right? Like the dust off is below freezing, and it's like freeze your finger off if you leave it on there for 2 seconds. It's that cold. So there is a variation. Maybe you'd say, all right, it's got to be 80 degrees, not 85, 90 degrees outside. Maybe, I don't know. But I'm just going to say the first test I did was no looming. I didn't get any refraction at all, really.
A null result.
The laser didn't move. Yeah, I mean, you call it a null result, I guess, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, as well.
It's not really a null result because you have no control, and that's the point. If you had set up exactly the same as Sly had done, and not been able to get the same result, then you can then say, well, in my hands this doesn't work, and we can try and work out why. If you get the same result as Sly, and then start changing things and showing that in more realistic, if you like, situations you don't get the same result, then you've got a point you can make. But you had no control. You had no way of knowing that the thing will work at all.
I don't have to repeat his test if we all agree that his test works. I'm not denying his test. I wanted to see it work in a different scenario.
Exactly.
I wanted to see it work.
But you have to establish that you can do his observation first. If you're going to be comparing with his observation, if you're going to be doing
this is why
if you're going to be doing it differently, then just do it differently and just publish your result, and people can say why. You can try and explain why you obtained your result. But if you're trying to make a comparison, you need to actually be able to make that comparison yourself.
But this is why, all we can say from these tests is, like from his, you could say, shooting a laser straight across over a bent surface of an iPad screen and then spraying sub-freezing dust off will bend the light. That's all you can say on that test, right? It doesn't prove
he changed the atmospheric conditions that the light was going through. That was the aim of the experiment.
So did I.
Yeah, but it was the crude way that you set yours up compared to his.
Crude.
To be honest, though, he's just not there yet. He's just not replicated it as yet. Give the guy a break.
Yeah, that's right. That's fine. Have another go. Yeah.
My setup's crude because I didn't replicate it, but Sly's, he used all these extra non-Earth materials like iPod screens.
Chris, you can't say that.
Work, and therefore his is better.
Chris, remember this. It exactly what like Miles and saying, and this is the test because I've seen you do it. Good, at least you're trying. Do exactly what you're doing now. Take in what you got. Do it again. Every time you do it again, you'll probably get a little bit better, and then eventually you get to the point where you understand it enough that you don't need to take the feedback. You'll have you know what I mean. So I mean, don't take.
I hear you.
Yeah, don't listen to the destructive criticism when in reality, we all know exactly what you're saying. I know what you're.
What I would like is for Sly to do the same thing, but over some sort of earth, like dirt, and then have the camera on the other side where I had it, and I want to see the light bent over the curve to where you see that pinprick of a laser light in the camera. That's what I'd like to see.
Well, there are other people who've done similar things. So Greater Sapien did one.
You're looking for like the more realistic aspect of it, rather than just is how it does it.
I mean, look, I think in theory we can say in theory I've seen something called looming, but every test I've seen where people do replicate that, they're using super extreme conditions like liquid butane or dust off spray that's sub freezing temperatures, those kind of things. Like, I'm just trying to do more of a real world, even if you use dust off like I did, trying to do more of a real world test to see what would happen.
Well, that's it. I mean, all that is just a documentation to say under this conditions that didn't work. So you just adapt the conditions, adapt the environment, and try and replicate it more, as they say. If you can replicate it, and then side by side put exactly that under the same conditions, then you can show it is this man-made device that is doing this. So it's all good for the documentation.
I've submitted lots and lots of scientific papers, and you always get, they always get refereed. There's always criticisms come back of the experimental methods that you've used, and you just have to kind of take those on board and then try to, sort of do something, answer those criticisms, answer those questions with further experiments and further tests.
Yeah, Chris is definitely one that's demonstrated in the past that is him all over. That's exactly what he does.
Yeah, I do have to say that dust off, man, you get maybe 45 or 60 seconds of that stream and it's gone. I had no idea. I bought 4 cans, and those cans were gone in like a matter of minutes. That was the worst part about it.
I think Greater Sapien did a similar kind of experiment. Now, he just had something that he'd had in his freezer and took out the freezer and shone a laser light over the top of that and showed that the light bent or moved.
You can refract.
I'll give you a clue.
Light.
Get a misting fan. All you have to do is put cooled water in it, and it will mist out like it's iced water. Simple. You get them from a bloody 99-cent store.
Oh, you're talking about like the fans on the water bottle.
Yeah, but that's what it does. It mists it out. So it turns it back. It turns it into water vapor. If you've got it cold enough, it'll come out more as a vapor than it will as water, because it'll be smaller molecules.
I'm sure a lot of these experiments were done a long time ago and have been published in journals a long time ago, and that all that information is available as well.
Oh yeah, but it's so much better if we just talk about it. We'll figure it out.
It's good fun to do these things yourself, and that's why I've quite a lot of these sorts of tests and things myself. Not the refracting laser light, but lots of others. You set up the little experiment in the hallway or wherever you can.
I haven't had the opportunity, excuse me, to do this type of test, but like I do a lot of grade checking, so I use a lot of laser levels and all that kind of stuff, and I know that over time it diffracts and all, but during parts of a certain day, get a false reading off of it and everything. So I get it, what they're talking about, but it seems harder to create a situation rather than put it in I can get a laser. I can show you guys that same test on a real world scale in the middle of a day because I deal with it every day. But you won't see it so clearly. You'll just you'll be like, well, this is a false reading, that's a false reading, and this because the laser's bouncing and bending, and that happens throughout a regular day.
The point is, how much does it bend? That's the core thing.
Yeah, seeing it, knowing exactly how much.
Because I just put in the chat, I don't know if anyone's seen it, the Action Lab. He does this tank test where he does the gradient medium of sugar.
Yeah.
And if you see on the tank on the top, the screenshot, you can see blatantly that it makes a straight line look bent, curved. And that's how Sound Leaves Bridge is made.
No.
I see that one, Gleam.
I'm not sure what you're talking about there, Gleam. I see the laser light bending, but I don't see anything else bent.
Did you not see the screenshot just above the video thing?
Hang on a sec.
If you click the video link at the top, it's a straight like fish tank, a vacuum tank.
Yeah.
And looking through a gradient medium bends the corner of the tank, and that is directly straight, obviously, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I can do that with my fish tank.
Yeah, that's it. So that can make a straight line appear. Yeah, that can make a straight line appear bent. So we all know that it happens. It's just how much it happens and under what conditions. That's the core thing I think Chris was getting at. Is that he isn't directly replicating. He isn't directly replicating Sparkane's thing because he knows that works under those conditions. He's trying other conditions to see whether it works under those as well.
But as was stated, first you need to replicate the original conditions, then change just one parameter each time till you get to
I do understand that. But he's obviously not doing that. He's doing his own thing. It's Chris.
I like that. That's Chris. It's just Chris.
What it is that You're almost holding Chris to the same scrutiny that you would have to publish something. When in reality, we're all laymen trying to. He's just trying to do it. I mean, instead
Well,
of
no, it's just trying to get him to be able to to learn a scientific method. Yeah,
That's why he
and I'm
comes
not
here.
saying the strict method.
That's why I like that's one of the reasons I like Chris. I mean, he did exactly like. Trust me, he's gotten a lot better. Before, like the first time, we had to like yell at Chris, like Chris, you're doing it, but this part is not right. Do it this way, and he'd fight back. Now look at him. He's like, hey, I did this video. What do you think? Is there something I should fix? Like, at least he came in asking.
Yeah, and that's what I wish a lot of these people who are trying to do experiments, instead of just going with that one result that they get, they come and ask. I mean, I know it sounds weird, the enemy, for a little bit of feedback.
But that's why I have hope for.
Do you believe that?
No. I said I had hope. That's it. That's all I said.
Do you want to go from a real experiment to a thought experiment and understand gravity from a flat earther's point of view?
Let's go. I'm ready.
Okay, thought experiment is you've got to blank out everything that you've ever been taught before to start with.
Can't fucking do that.
However,
I'm so glad you went there, Gleam. I want to follow up on.
Yeah, but after 44 years, I can't blank everything out of me fucking brain.
No. But I want you to pull me up when I broke any physical law and breached into the terms of supernaturality or whatever craziness. Okay.
Right, you've already started.
Experiments. I need. Yeah, I've opened my mouth. There we go. But anyway, let's set the scenery first. The environment is there's me. There is two mediums. There's a medium of air, and that is a medium, a gaseous medium, let's say, and that is in a gradient, exactly as it is today on Earth. And then all there is, forget Earth underneath me, all there is just a stack of massive bricks all around me. And they're not cemented together, they're just a stack of bricks. Now, we understand similar thing, there will be pressure there, but they'll be less compressed because bricks are set as they are. So is everyone with me? That is the three things that we've got. We've got air, we've got the bricks underneath, and I walk on the top of the bricks, and the air is just as it is on Earth. Okay? Yeah? Everyone with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, just like you could do in a driveway that hasn't been set or cemented as yet, I go down, I bend down, and I pick out one of the bricks in this stack underneath my feet. Now I lift that up in the air. In doing so, and bear in mind, this is from a flat earther's point of view, without the necessity for gravity. This is on buoyancy and density. Okay, so I have lifted that brick out of its equilibrium and put it into a medium where it is not in its equilibrium. Okay, so me holding it there is giving it what's known as this thing that flat earthers always mention, of course, gravitational potential energy. Now,
blah 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 blah.
No, no.
You can take the gravitation.
I haven't released
it. It is. The movement of you pulling the brick out.
No, I understand
kinetic force.
You have caused kinetic energy on that brick. I understand that.
Yeah,
but
there is no potential without another force acting upon it.
In that system, in my eyes, the net.
Where'd he go?
I think that was him buzzing, so that might have something to do with it.
Did he get
Space-time continuum got him.
His equilibrium broke. It's your fault, Montreal.
I know. While he comes back, Sean, I want to compliment you and who are you debating the round earth digging there? Who was it? I think it was...
It was Davros.
Yes, Davros, yes.
That's fun.
That was some entertaining stuff there.
Yeah, it's what we do, Montreal. We try to entertain.
And I don't even have to like devil's advocate. That was real. Like I was. I don't want anyone to assume that like I'm acting a part. No, I'm this dumb.
No, I didn't assume. You're for real. You're a digger, man. You dig earth. Now imagine digging down. I was thinking this, Sean. Imagine digging down now. When you reach a point, right? You're digging down. You have your bulldozer. Now, when you reach the center, are you digging up? Does your bulldozer switch around automatically?
That's what I was thinking.
No, it wouldn't. No.
It would.
You would still effectively be going in the direction that you started.
Gleam appears to be having.
How so? You'd be upside down.
But at what point would you be upside down there, Montreal? Which point?
After the center. If there were some Aussies over there, they'd be saying, what the hell? This American's digging upside down.
Why would he be
Well, here's the question. Are you digging under your feet when you get to the center, or would you turn around and dig above your head?
That's my question, sir. At what magical point and how do you flip?
Well, were you there?
Sean, you had him going there, bro. I got to give it to you.
I just want answers, and if they can't answer it, they're gonna have to give me answers.
Yeah, but
You're
that's
absolutely
the thing.
right there, bro.
Once you're in the middle, what's your point of reference?
Check one. Can anyone hear me?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
got you
Did I
back.
didn't
cut
die.
out? I seriously didn't touch anything, and it just died. Must have been
It
this way.
sounded like you got electrocuted.
Yeah,
You just went
Yeah,
quiet.
I seriously think it's my chi. Sometimes I get a release of chi, and it
No, I
blows
reckon
buildings
you
away
had an
sometimes.
ether band feedback loop.
It's
He had a
an
he had a
ether
release of
thing. It
That's
is.
he
I'm
had
an
a release
ether
of-
creature.
he had a release of cheese.
That's from a high
Ether
fiber
breacher.
That's from a high fiber diet, and you just got.
Don't stand close to me when you have your release of cheese.
No, it's an ether breach.
Yeah. Just
Hadouken.
make sure you
Hadouken.
mute. Make sure you mute when you have those breaks.
I open a window.
Yeah.
But anyway, getting back to the thought experiment. So I've just picked up a brick, and in flat earthers' point of view, in my point of view as well, what they believe is that they've taken that brick out of its natural equilibrium and put it in a medium where it's not its natural equilibrium.
Everyone's giving it the potential.
Now, you have just given it the potential by taking it out. It's much the same as, let's say, strumming a guitar string, but not actually letting it go. So you're holding the guitar string up, and you're not actually letting it go. And it's only when you let it go, it comes and restores back to equilibrium and
No,
vibrates.
but you're applying tension to the string. You're not applying any tension to the brick.
Because
No,
there's,
this is more-
another force acting upon the string.
Yes.
But
The string
there
itself
doesn't
is
need to
acting
be.
upon itself. Yeah,
In-
but it
in-
does. That's the
There
physics.
doesn't. No, on the globe it does. On the flat Earth it doesn't.
Yeah,
Gleam.
but for that brick to
Gleam.
have potential, there must be a force acting upon it.
Yeah, Gleam, how long can you hold that brick out before your
As long as you
muscles
want-
in your arm give
It
up?
will not. It will not increase potential.
No,
because
but
it's
how
based
long?
on height.
How long can you hold that brick out without your arm getting tired and you eventually having to, to lower your arm down?
However long
Why?
that will be. I haven't
Why?
tested that.
Why does that? No, but the point, you understand the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that you cannot hold that out indefinitely because you're having to physically apply a force to hold
An
it up.
energy.
Why?
Well, Gleam.
Because you're applying an energy to that
there's a
in order
question-
to take it out
Yeah.
of equilibrium.
Why? You can call it energy if you want, but why? Why are you having to hold that apply that energy, apply that force to hold it up.
Yeah, here's a good question. Someone in the chat says, "What is making the brick sitting on any surface in the first place?"
Yep.
Well, this is a thought experiment, so it would be Earth.
Okay.
It would be Earth. You'd gradually get in a flat Earther's point of view. If you took a let's say a column of Earth right down to, let's say, the floor of, some believe that it's endless, but it would go dense right the way at the bottom, and then you would go right the way up to the top layer of gases and thin. So the density would just be one strip column of getting denser and denser and denser as you get to the center of Earth, let's say, or down in the depths of Earth.
Can we see
That's demonstrably untrue.
Well, that is
see your density equation.
Magnitude. Either way, if you put something in mud, let's say, it will eventually seep into it if it's more dense. If not, it will stay on top.
Yes, but something has to be pulling against that force of the mud.
It needs more than
Not if it's in equilibrium. So
No. Listen.
What does in equilibrium mean, Gleam?
In its surrounding surface. So that's what it would be. If you got a brick there, and setting aside pressure forces, as much as the next pressure, the most pressure will be on the bottom brick because it's got the weight of the other bricks on top. Yeah. So
I'll tell you what equilibrium means. It means that forces acting in all directions are equal.
Are balanced. Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
so when you hold the brick up, it is no longer in equilibrium because the forces acting upon it are no longer equal.
That is my point.
And so what is the force that is acting in a downward direction? We call it gravity.
No.
You can call it your Auntie Nelly if you want. It doesn't matter.
No, I call it me because I've picked that brick. Put it this way: if you take Newton's law, so an object will stay at rest until a force is acted upon it. So if I didn't get involved in this thought experiment and there was just bricks and air, nothing would happen.
Yeah, but you had to use energy to pick up that brick. You had to put a force against it. Yeah, but you had to put a force against it to work against the opposing force to take it out of equilibrium.
Yes.
You had to oppose something to do that.
That is my point. You are the provider of
that. Something is gravity.
Doesn't have a vector.
That something is gravity. That's all there is to it. You can call it whatever you like.
You are gravity. In flat earthers' point of view, you are giving it that energy, because without you in that system, that brick wouldn't have moved up, and it wouldn't have come out of equilibrium, and you wouldn't have been able to drop it down. And
but that's the same. That's the same in our world, Gleam. That's exactly the same in our world. Okay, now
this is the thing.
It makes no difference. Yes, you have to apply some force in order to lift something up. The question is why.
The argument about gravity, and exactly that for a flat earther, it is you are picking it up. So therefore, you are providing that energy. For you, there is some.
You're providing the energy to pick it up, but why is energy needed to pick it up? Why do you need to do work in order to pick it up?
Because it has weight.
And what is weight? Weight is mass times what?
In a globe. In a flat earther, the concept of weight is how mass acts within a medium.
If I can say something here, in a flat earther's point of view, the brick is happily sitting there by itself doing nothing. It's when you go and pick it up is when you cause that brick to move. That brick wouldn't have moved if it wasn't for you.
Actually, no, because while that brick is sitting there, it still has a weight, which means gravity is still acting upon it, whether it's on the ground or in your hand.
And that's because of its mass. Its weight's different in different mediums, so gravity is medium dependent.
Yeah, but we are in the one medium. We are in the atmosphere at sea level. We are at one atmosphere. We haven't changed the medium or anything, right? That brick sitting on the ground has the same forces acting upon it as when you pick it up and leave it in your hand. It still has a weight from its mass times the acceleration of gravity.
No.
That is the physics of it.
It's
Density does not have a vector.
It's not needed in the flat Earth, though.
But density doesn't have a vector.
but the Earth isn't flat, Gleam, so that's the end of the argument.
Involved in that. The vector is, where did you pick it up from? Where is it?
You've just provided a vector for it by lifting it up.
right?
Exactly.
But if you were removed, it would fall.
Yes. And
So
because you give it
but
potential,
density
now
doesn't
that's the
have a
kinetic.
What?
That's the kinetic.
Okay, wait, Glim. What would make it fall? And where from would the brick know which way to fall to?
Okay, whether
Yeah.
you've got the
So why
Archimedes
doesn't it
principle.
go? Okay.
Wait there.
let
You
me
ask a
explain-
question, you expect an answer. Be quiet, please.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, so you got Archimedes' principle and the principle of least action.
That's
so you got
buoyancy.
Archimedes. Yeah, Archimedes' principle, the original principle, is just weight. You never introduced
Which requires gravity. It does.
No, you never
It's got
introduced
little
it.
g in the equation.
Wait.
Can you hang on, please?
Oh,
They used it for
let me
2,000
ask
years
you,
without
Let me ask you
gravity.
one question. Why are
What,
you
you're saying it didn't
assuming
work
that?
with it?
Why
It was
are you
built into it.
assuming that
Can I answer the
buoyancy
question?
works without gravity?
Because it did for 2,000 years between Archimedes
No, it didn't.
discovering it to 1700 before little g was even found. And
Okay,
even
so you are saying that
are you saying that ships didn't sail
before being described, laws of physics did not work?
No. I
Is
did
that
not
what
say
you're
that.
trying to
You're
say?
making
Yes,
up
that's
stuff.
what you're saying.
You're making up stuff because you can't answer
No,
why
no, wait.
I am invoking
You
actual
said-
science.
You
here.
said that before we knew G was in the equation, and before the equation was even made, yeah, we didn't know gravity is working on it, but it did work. It has just been described.
So the
It has
concept
just
of
been
weight worked just as weight. So
You just
that's all
made
I'm
Gleam's
invoking. I'm going
argument, my
back.
friend.
I'm
Okay.
going back to the old method, let's say. There we go.
All right.
Okay,
go
you
back
are
to
going
the
back to the
Egyptians
old
then.
methods. So why are you using internet?
What a pitiful argument.
No,
either
it's
way,
not pitiful because you are going back to old, let's say, rules.
yes, when you get to
that
a
were
point
on the
and
Earth. Yeah. So why are you using internet? Because this is made by
That's a
science.
stupid
You are
argument.
denying. It's not a stupid.
I'm not
argument.
denying this science. Who said I denied the science of the internet? I program
You
and web
are
design.
denying the science because science
No.
says that gravity
does
exists.
have nothing to do with the internet.
Gravity
Can you just shut
is
up?
the force
That's a stupid
that
argument. Come on. Can someone with sense
holds
come
your
in?
What a
fuck
lame
ass on this
excuse, bro.
earth.
Somebody else make some sense, man. Come on.
I can.
You're getting sidetracked, guys. Gleam is perfectly acceptable to use the Archimedes principle because, if you want to, the fact that it's still based on weight and gravity and so it's
Gravity's only needed for the model, though.
it's not needed
No,
for a model.
gravity is needed
It's
for
something that is
everything else.
demonstrably true.
It's not. No, it's not needed for the flat Earth, as I'm trying to explain. And the final bit of that was the actual vector direction.
Yeah, it's not needed
straight
because
down
it
from
works
where-
against the flat Earth.
It is needed for the flat Earth model. That's the point we're making.
What the hell do you
couldn't-
know about anything to do with the flat Earth model? When did you last do a flat Earth model?
I've been doing flat Earth models for about 4 years. You've been doing them.
Okay. When did you last have a flat Earth model including perspective distortions? That is a flat Earth model. Come on. They say that the curve is a perspective distortion and refraction.
Hang on, we're talking about gravity. We're not talking about fucking perspective.
Well,
Get on
this
with
is
the
it.
show.
You make up your own flat Earth model and think you debunk it.
Yeah,
all
and
the
you
time,
make up
and it's
your own
funny.
way to move the goalpost. We were talking about gravity, and then you talk about perspective.
Okay, no, I would prefer to go back to gravity because it's going all down
Why
the.
did you bring perspective into it? For?
Okay.
Because
I have
he
a question.
doesn't do a
Can I have
proper
a
flat
question?
Earth model,
Can I have a
that's why.
question?
Go for it.
Gleam, can I have a question? Can I have a question? Gleam, please. Can I have a question?
Only if you grow up to be an adult.
No, I just
Digital
needed your
blood
attention.
pressure, bro.
Okay,
I know
so
you did intention.
okay, so if you want to talk about gravity, let me ask you two questions, to which you will have an answer.
Of course.
The possible answers, yes or no. So, okay, first question. Did you ever put your head below more than 1 meter of water?
Yes.
Okay. Did you feel the difference on your eardrums when you put your head deeper and deeper underwater?
Completely irrelevant. Pressure is a second order effect. Gravity
And
is
now,
the assumed
wait,
effect behind that.
Wait.
Yeah, weight
is relevant.
It's exactly.
It is relevant.
It's just
it
weight.
is relevant.
No gravity needed.
Okay, so what is causing
weight is gravity?
No, it isn't.
What
It's
is
not in the
causing
flat Earth model.
weight is gravity, mass is
Yes.
not.
In the flat Earth model, it's not needed.
Mass is not related with gravity. Weight is. So let me go back to my second question. Yeah, did you ever feel a difference in pressure when your head was going deeper or
we're talking
more
pressure,
shallow? I would
effect.
say in the
gravity.
water.
Not gravity.
Okay, so what is
Tell me-
causing the
tell me
pressure?
what-
What is causing the pressure?
It's weight.
Weight of what? Weight is
mass
weight
times
is
gravity.
directly.
On a globe.
Weight is
Not needed.
directly.
Wes is weight's concept
so why
is how
is-
matter and mass acts within a medium, because
Okay,
it weighs
why
differently
is
in
water-
different mediums.
Why is the pressure in the water that is why is pressure higher the deeper you go underwater?
Why do I weigh differently in water? You put scales under
because,
I'm a different weight.
Oh my
So-
goodness! Moving goalposts. No,
Okay.
answer my question. Why?
Gravity
Answer my question.
is
No,
medium
answer the
dependent.
question. Why
It's to do with
is
pressure. You're talking a second. I
okay?
answered
What
3
is
questions
causing the
ago.
difference in pressure?
It's
Because
weight.
as you said, it's causing. There is a pressure. There is a pressure gradient. The
Can I
deeper you
interrupt
go.
here?
Okay,
Gleam,
go for
Just
it.
explain the
Sorry.
pressures.
Gleam. You keep saying weight. Weight is mass times gravity. So you cannot
On a
use
globe.
that. Not on a globe. It is. That is the definition. Now,
you can't
if
just say it is
if
really
you
strongly
want
when
to
it is.
use the word, can I finish, Gleam?
Yeah, but
If
you're
you
not
want to
understanding.
use the term weight, then use it in the same way that everybody else does. If
No.
you are referring to mass, then please use the term mass.
No way.
Okay?
One more
No way.
thing, if I can point out, you are talking about weight, Gleam. So why is weight always measured towards the center of the Earth, not towards the side of
Exactly the
of
same
it or
in
to
each-
the
in
top?
either model. Because the flat Earth is
What is causing the
20
weight go
times.
the way that it goes?
Because flat Earth is 20 times the size that you imagine it to be, so the gravity vector would
Okay.
not
So what
change it,
is
just
causing
go down.
the weight?
Sorry, what has the size got to do with it on a flat Earth? I thought it was just density.
It's
Why
the
is the
vector
size
direction
relevant?
that you're trying to question. Because Vsauce brought out a video saying that as soon as you get to the edges, it will start to curve like this, and you'll be walking uphill. Rubbish.
Gleam, you're the one who introduced the size. Why does the size matter?
Because that would matter on how intense the vector direction.
The
was.
vector of what? The
What
vector of density.
gives the vector to the mass?
Gleam, your argument is absolutely full of holes. You couldn't answer why the holding the brick out.
You're saying
You
no
couldn't
physics can be used. You can't use any
Gleam,
words
I'm
that we
speaking.
use. That's what he
Gleam,
said.
Gleam, I'm speaking. You couldn't answer why holding the brick out, your arm would get tired. You
I can stop there. Stop there. I will. I'll answer them all right now.
No, you
I'll answer
couldn't.
them all.
No, you
No,
couldn't.
I'll answer
You
them
couldn't
all.
answer why. You couldn't answer anything about why you use the term weight when you know that weight involves gravity.
I did, and I
No, you
said weight has never included gravity up until 1700. So I'm going back
It
to the old
always
school.
has.
Actually,
It always
in all
has.
science.
Actually,
Always
the Egyptians used it.
Yeah, whatever. What little G?
Well, they did.
In
It was
Egyptian
called
times. Are you
cubic.
mad?
It was called cubic gravity.
It's awful.
Gleam, you
Go
think
on, look up the
your
epistemology.
argument has no merit at all, as usual. And with that, I'm off to bed.
No, no.
Night.
No.
Go on.
It's all mad.
You tell me the Egyptians didn't use some form of gravity.
Show me in their equations, please.
I'm asking you to tell me that they didn't and show me where they did.
They are, and now you're asking me to prove your claim wrong.
I want to ask a question. I want to ask a question.
Your questions are rubbish, though.
Not rubbish. They are just
They are
putting
rubbish.
your little.
You're talking about pressure, and we're talking about gravity.
Yeah, I'm talking
It's
about
a second
gravity.
Of gravity. We're talking about the first order effect. You're going, look at this pressure, when I've just created a thought experiment with that exact same pressure. Of course,
But
I
that's the
understand
point.
it.
It's just a thought experiment, and it's never more than a thought experiment. That's the issue. Gleam.
Exactly. And
all
I
you
could
can do is a thought experiment.
I could describe picking up a brick and dropping it without even needing gravity.
That's fine, and you don't need gravity. You don't need gravity for your model.
And that was
the
my
reason
point.
you don't need gravity. The reason you don't need gravity for your model is that the flat Earth model doesn't need to solve any problems. It doesn't need anything. It has no requirements. All it requires is that you believe in it.
Exactly.
The thing is, there is no consistent flat Earth model for the starters.
Consistent globe Earth model for
It just
There is
requires
no
that you believe
there
that
is no
the Earth is
consistent
flat.
flat Earth model, and globe Earth is able to predict everything that will happen over next 500 years, including all sunsets, sunrises, fucking name it.
Mate, you know,
Name it.
Steve Torrance has done for the next 115
model,
years.
Your shit.
Do you want me to show
fault.
you right now and shut you right up? 115 years up to 2131. Shall I just shut you up right now?
No, the point really is that it's fine if you want to believe that gravity just doesn't exist, and that you have an explanation that you found on a YouTube video that explains how things in this imaginary, you impart some elastic band type of force into it. That's totally fine, totally fine. But the issue is that you'll never
projection of coordinate system.
Right, but what you'll never do is explain how that could supplant the current understanding we have of gravity.
There is
Which
no
is what
current
you'd need to
understanding
do.
of gravity.
What do you mean there is no current understanding of gravity? There is one.
There is
and
not.
I'm trying to represent it to you, but
what is it? What is gravity?
Gravity is a force that occurs between two masses. This force is pulling these masses towards itself.
Wasn't
That's
that
what
concept
gravity
changed?
is.
Wasn't that concept changed?
Yes, but it was changed because the science advanced. But generally,
can you
both.
give me the proper concept, please?
Excuse me.
What was the problem?
Concepts of gravity work. That's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's Newtonian or what's the other guy's names? Gravity.
Neither works.
It works in both.
Yeah, they both
it does not.
Works
Neither Newtonian or Einsteinian work.
Okay. Disprove it then. Go on.
Okay.
Disprove it.
Okay. Are you ready?
Go for it, girly.
Are you ready? What is Mond and Lambda CDM?
Yeah, that's not. Sorry, mate. Okay, gravity is the acceleration towards the center of the planet. Full stop. End of sentence.
What is Mond and Lambda CDM?
Doesn't mean anything compared to the gravity of the situation that you are now in. The gravity is the acceleration towards the center of the planet. That is it. That's all that we are talking about.
What is Mond? Please, somebody tell
gravity
me. If you know your own models.
Okay,
if
I
you
don't know.
Models,
I don't know.
Mond
Okay,
and Lambda CDM.
Wait, Gleam. You spend your every waking moment on this. If we had a conspiracy theory involving dentistry,
years.
Okay? If we had a conspiracy involving dentistry, you would study dentistry every single day, and you could tell us all of the tiny little details
Who brought
involved
up
in dentistry.
any conspiracies? Wait,
okay?
Who brought up
yes.
conspiracies?
They're all like that.
Shoot me down.
So.
Hey, it's not necessary for us to know every tiny little piece of evidence that you have. What you need is to be able to convince us there is a reason to doubt the current model.
Mons are grossly
God damn you, Barney.
disproven by observations of different distributions of dark matter throughout space. So it's not MOND, it's some form of dark matter. Almost conclusively. It's not absolutely conclusive, but that's where the current evidence is definitely pointing to very predominantly.
The point.
Yeah, and what the hell does that have to do with the local gravity of the planet?
Nothing.
I was just going to say the alternative theories of gravity, like MOND and you've got entropic gravity, etc. It is completely wrong to say that these are theories of gravity that could just be swapped out for general relativity. They are not complete working explanations of gravity. The only firm understanding we have of gravity that actually works in all, all circumstances, pretty much, is general relativity or the simpler version Newtonian's gravity.
I object.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, go on. Show us where it's different on the planet then.
Okay, in quantum mechanics, standard model, it's
On
excluded.
the
It's
planet.
incompatible.
On the planet.
Yes,
Show me
quantum
it's different.
mechanics are on the planet. Quantum mechanics are happening on the planet.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Barney. Yeah. So this is a person who's talking about the fucking flat Earth.
I know.
Right? Now, we're talking about gravity,
no.
the acceleration
So-
towards the planet that causes weight.
Gleam is not a flat earther.
Yes, but we're not talking about quantum mechanics. We're talking about gravity.
I'm just highlighting parts where it's incompatible and doesn't work.
Yeah, but you're complicating the argument.
Yeah, you haven't actually highlighted any part where it doesn't work.
No.
I didn't hear that either.
I did.
Where was the part where it didn't work?
I
did.
don't know. I missed that
Because
bit.
come on, to invoke dark matter and dark energy is invoking. Okay, is
What's that got
dark
to do with
matter
gravity
and
on
dark
planet Earth?
energy natural or supernatural?
What's that got to do with gravity here on Earth?
I have no idea.
In its current form, in my eyes, it's supernatural.
What the fuck has that got to do with gravity on Earth? I thought that's what we were discussing.
Can I just say, in my eyes, and I don't know whether this is right, correct me if I'm wrong, Barney, if you wish, or anybody else, but if you have a law of physics, okay, it's supposed to be scale invariant, so it will work on the smallest scale right the way up to the biggest scale. Now, you can have, and I'm not one of these that argue you can't use Newton on a planetary scale, and you can't use this, that, and the other. Yes, they all work at their relevant scales, but there are parts where it fails at other scales.
So where does it fail on the planet?
So general relativity fails.
No. Where does
particle
Newtonian
scale.
fail on the planet? Where does that
Newtonian
fail?
physics.
So we're talking
fail
about mass
at the
mass
quantum
attracting mass.
particle scale.
No, we're talking about mass attracting mass.
Where does
Okay,
it
don't
fail
get
on
into the
Earth?
particles, because unless you're going to confirm certain particles and certain actions that happen between those particles, this argument goes nowhere.
I'll answer that. It fails everywhere on Earth. Show me mass attracting mass on Earth.
Oh yeah, you're a great.
Drop a pen. Drop a pen.
So,
oh, the old pen story. You guys are
Mass
serious.
attracting mass. You said show you. Stand up and
Show
jump
me
up and
two
down.
pens attracting each other. Show me two pens attracting
attracting the mass of your pen.
Clue.
Well,
That's
Gleam,
not the
I respect your opinion.
It
Gleam, I
was
respect
putting
your
the
opinion.
concept out there. It was putting the concept
Gleam,
out there that flat earthers don't need your gravity. Stop trying to
Well,
force
that's fine. They
feed
don't.
them.
That's funny
They
because the
don't.
Egyptians
gravity
used
thing.
it.
No. Wait. Gleam is absolutely right. Flat Earth does not need gravity.
yes.
Flat Earth doesn't need anything.
Yes.
Flat Earth has no predictive capabilities. It has no application in real life. It needs nothing.
It does have predictive capabilities.
It does say it has nothing. It's
What?
fine.
Name one prediction Flat
it's a
Earth has.
belief.
Okay,
It's a
Tallis
belief
and
that's fine.
Alexander.
What?
Tallis and Alexander back in 585 BC predicted the first eclipse using a flat Earth model and flat Earth maps.
No, we want a prediction now.
They did not use
Yeah.
a flat Earth model. They used an observed regularity in the events.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
they
not a flat
didn't.
Earth
They
model.
didn't
That's just
account
what
for
I
the
said.
shape of the
They
Earth.
didn't
There
use a
wasn't.
flat Earth
There
model.
was
They
not
used
meaning.
observation, nothing more.
But sorry.
They could have
Okay, let
also
me
used the
rephrase. They
Antikythera
followed
mechanism.
a flat Earth model. They followed. They were flat Earthers.
Were
Both of
they?
them were flat
Yes,
Earthers.
Were they?
I don't know that, but I'm fine with accepting that. That
I
Let's
can
just
show
still does
you
not
totally
affect.
fine. It's totally fine to say that we can predict what's going on in the skies. That's totally fine. But like I said, flat Earth demands nothing. It needs nothing. It doesn't need gravity. Doesn't need anything because
Can I piggyback on
it
something
isn't
that
useful.
Wayne
It
said
isn't
up?
useful in any way.
It is
It doesn't.
useful
It doesn't
in every
go
way.
anywhere.
It's enhanced science tremendously. That's
How?
such a
Wait.
mistruth.
What? What did you just say? Flat Earth has
Yes.
enhanced science.
Okay, approximations.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would actually agree with that statement.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Right. Go on.
You know, a
Yep.
professor
The
of
reason
physics
being is you can select a
once told me.
Cartesian model, and it gets rid of all of the aspects of even accounting for the minute negligible effects of gravity, Earth spin, whatever. So you
A
select a flat
Cartesian
Earth
plane? Are you talking
Yes.
about Cartesian planes?
That's yes. That's not flat Earth. That's not flat Earth.
Well, it's
You know, just to say the
Okay. Yeah, we
one of
talked
the
about
one
this
of the good
before,
things
Denny.
about
models
flat
used
Earth.
in all
We
forms
talked
of
about this
science.
before.
Modeling the Earth as a Euclidean flat plane is a very useful simplification for certain problems. Therefore, the flat Earth as a model has been very useful in science. That's not a controversial statement. When you take small scale artillery, flat Earth model is the perfect tool to use it because what you're calculating is just a parabole on flat Earth. Right? All approximations, the simpler they are, the faster you can calculate them, have their uses.
The issue for me is then when it is then claimed that the authorities admit that the Earth is flat by using such models.
Yes, because
which is
completely not what I do.
Well, that's kind of
that
the
it is.
insinuation, right? When you say,
it is
well,
the
the flat
insinuation,
Earth model is, the flat Earth model is useful in science, therefore it might be true.
Yeah.
That
is
an insinuation.
it's the same,
however,
with all due
stop
respect,
the
with all due
insinuation
respect,
that
it's like saying,
they're not useful. That is
right,
why
but
I'm putting.
with all due respect, it's like saying that you are not a flat earther, but argue continue for the flat Earth.
Yeah.
It is also a very useful approximation that the Earth is a perfect sphere, which it is not. It is also a useful approximation that planets move on circles, which they do not. And these things are obvious when you try to apply those approximations in situations where they're not applicable, and then you run into trouble. So, flat Earth is useful on small scales. When you're planning your house, you can treat the Earth as a flat plane. But when you're building something over a couple of kilometers, you no longer can. Unless your precision is so low that you wouldn't notice that thing, right? If you're building a road, I guess you can treat it as a flat plane. More or less.
Barney, I just want to say that an ellipse mathematically is actually a circle.
Oh, a circle is an ellipse, but
I just, we're looking for accuracy here, Barney. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I know, but
I think John may have been nitpicking a little bit.
Oh, just a little bit.
Really?
Well, it's kind of like saying, well, a rectangle is actually a square, and you'd never call a fucking rectangle a square, would you? But I was just taking the piss.
Well, can't you call a square a rectangle though?
No.
Oh.
You can call it a parallelogram.
But yeah, just going back to the the dark matter gravity thing. I mean, the reason why it's assumed that dark matter is a thing is because our understanding of gravity works so well in all circumstances.
It's an assumption because
On the contrary,
but
it's because
yeah,
your
but it's not
understanding
a-
of gravity failed that you brought in dark energy. On the contrary,
No, not
I'm
dark
afraid.
energy.
I'm
I
afraid
don't
you've got
think
an
that-
issue with that logic. I'm afraid. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the issue with that logic. If it's all a conspiracy, then gravity would work perfectly everywhere.
we didn't
Would
say
it not?
conspiracy.
If it was all a
We didn't
lie
say-
and all a hoax and everything is being engineered to draw us away from the true shape of the Earth, then
Why is it when we show you inconsistency, you accuse
that
us
idea
of
would be
conspiracies?
consistent, and you wouldn't have to come up with dark matter, whatever else.
You haven't showed us anything
Right?
untrue.
Dude, listen to yourself. You
Yeah, I am.
observed things in the sky. Listen up. The scientists, the astronomers observed galaxies in the sky, and they weren't moving in the ways that your gravity predicted. So, instead of saying, is our gravity wrong? Can we rethink this? Are we doing something wrong? They said no.
Which is exactly what they did.
That's exactly
what they did, man.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
they did rethink it.
But my point is
cut
that
them off.
if there is a concerted effort to lie about the shape of the Earth and invent a fiction such as what you are saying, that gravity is a fiction, then those observations, they would, first of all, if they did find some anomalies, they wouldn't admit it to you and make it public, now would they? So why would they
I
make
said
something
nothing
like
of
that
the
public?
sort.
It's
You did not hear a
like
word I
NASA,
said,
but
did you?
with respect, it's like NASA losing telemetry data. Why would they admit to something like that?
Okay, let's appeal to Barney. Barney, did I make a mistake in anything I said there, sir?
I don't know.
You've got to understand.
So,
you've got to understand why they came to the conclusion that there is missing matter. I mean, the way that
they didn't come to that conclusion. Don't overstep the epistemic boundary. We
Admit
not
your
know.
opinion, Barney. Go ahead.
Right. It is a sound conclusion, right? It is a sound hypothesis. That hypothesis has not been confirmed because we do not know what that matter might be. The only thing that we know is its distribution and equivalent mass. If it was mass, it would be distributed like this. Now, MONS, or modified gravity, was the first thing they thought of. When you say, wouldn't that be? Yes, it was. There are two possible solutions. Either there is some mass there that we're not seeing, and gravity is as we think it is, or gravity acts in a different way. MONS, meaning modified theories of gravity, which could explain that motion, have been discounted at large because we can see different ratios of visible matter and dark matter in the universe, meaning that there is no unified law of gravity. There is no unified modified law of gravity. That new modified law, if it was a modified law, would have to be different at every place in the universe, and that's okay. That's just a statement of what, right? Therefore, the only thing that we do know is what the distribution is as observed by rotational speeds and gravitational lensing, and what the equivalent mass of that distribution is, how much classical mass it would take to create those effects. Any statement that it is anything other than that or more than that is an overstatement.
Thank you, Barney. Now that was a concise explanation.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you.
Well, here's the issue that I see. When you look at science, and science makes a declaration, the Earth is not flat, it's a sphere. You say, that's an issue. How can they know? They don't know. It's suppositions and presuppositions and assumptions. When they say, we don't exactly know how gravity works, you say, how do they not know what gravity works? It's all so no matter what conclusion science comes with, they're certain of something or uncertain of something, there's an issue with science. I don't
generalizing.
know. I don't know.
Generalizing.
No, but you just did. Right. So is it an assumption that the Earth is a sphere, as far as you're concerned?
We weren't talking about spheres. We were talking about
No,
something
I'm just saying
else.
generally. What I'm saying is that the shape of the planet, you're considering that an assumption, and that it's wrong, right? Am I correct in that?
But
no, this is my thing about. I do not know the shape of the Earth. I make no claims. My claim is that the Earth is stationary. That's the only claim I've ever made.
So you don't
and
make
I
a claim that the Earth is flat.
Inconsistencies.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
So you point out inconsistencies. Okay. So, but my point is that the established shape of the Earth, you doubt that, yes?
Well, according to the latest examples that we have with the horizon and the oil rig observation, it leads me to say that, yes, there's a question with the shape of the Earth at this moment.
Right. Okay. But science is very, very secure in its knowledge that the shape of the Earth is an oblate spheroid.
Now, I'd like to correct you. Science doesn't say anything. The current scientific understanding, let's say, is that, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right.
The current scientific understanding says that the Earth is a globe. Simple.
Right. And you're saying it isn't. And that assuming that, saying that it is tantamount to an assumption, and it's just completely false. But then, when there's an issue with with gravity, you say that also is a problem, because we don't know. So how can we not know? It's just,
it's a
no matter what they say,
of,
you have.
No, if you can just understand what just happened there, especially with you there, I think it was you specifically that just said that their flat Earth model is rendered useless. Okay, we should just disregard
it's not rendered useless. It is useless.
And this is the thing, which is crazy. It's crazy thinking.
No, the flat Earth model, including the fact that what flat earthers say is that the Earth is a disk with a dome, and the stars are, in the dome, and the stars are not actually stars. They're just lights in the sky. That's what I mean.
No. Wait, stop. Don't presuppose anything. The thing is, there is no flat Earth model. There is no consistent flat Earth model that will be saying, okay, this is how flat Earth looks or works like.
There is. You just have
some people say there's a model.
Well, see, some people say there is.
No model. There's no model.
I'm not one of them.
The models fail if the model is, let's say, working accordingly to what is really happening on the Earth. In one way, let's say, if it works with, let's say, how should it be distributed, and what real lengths and distances between the shores of certain, let's say, countries like Australia are. So some think Australia doesn't exist. Some live in Australia.
Come on, guy, you're generalizing now. You're trolling us. Come on.
No, that's not. I'm just saying.
That's the genuine state.
So can you tell me? Can you tell me how Steve Torrance's model fails?
Of the fact, it's.
Can you? Yeah. Can you tell me the fact
show me a model that
there in the chat now. In the chat now.
No.
It's in the chat right now.
Show me a model.
Yeah, it's there. It's there
of the flat Earth that is showing and being able to guess all the
all the
things
star positions and all the planets for the next 115 years to 2131.
Except that that's not true, because flat Earth can't explain why we have full moons.
It's there. It's right there. No, it's there. They can. They've modelled it. They've modelled it. Flat earthers have modelled it. You're too slow.
Okay, no.
Okay.
So,
No, not really.
wait. That may be so. That may be so.
Exactly.
That last one that you've shown, the celestial clock, those are the orbits of planets, right?
Yep. And it's JPL data, and all he's done is just projected it over a flat Earth and adjusted it accordingly on the 1AU, let's say.
For which observer on Earth that is, because that is definitely not true for all observers on Earth.
Okay.
Right? On that flat Earth, if you put an observer anywhere, they will have a different projection of those positions that he's showing there. Therefore, he has modeled it for one observer, probably on the North Pole.
Well, what he's actually done is there's a couple in there, and if you go on his channel, you'll be able to see he's done many more. He's actually took star trail observations.
I've seen them. Yeah,
and
I've seen them.
Yeah, matched them up to the actual location. So I agree. It's not going to be perfect, but these guys here don't actually understand that people have actually taken time and actually sat down and tried to make it work.
It falls apart the minute
that's
you
fine.
add a
That's
second
fine.
server to that model.
Gleam.
So
Gleam. There's an
in the same sense that I've said before. In the same sense that I've said before, that there are flat Earth models used actively in science. The thing is that they're not purporting to
perfect reality.
model reality. They are useful approximations, right? So what you're showing here, that actually is, well, it's not a model. It's a description of what it would look like on the flat Earth. It doesn't have predictive power, except for one observer, right? Any other observer anywhere on that Earth would be able to instantly say that is false, right? Because they would be observing the planet at a different position than what's shown there.
Unless you design the camera to match the human eye of what perspective would make it.
Unless you
Okay,
I didn't get that either.
A thought experiment. Glim, would you like
another
thought experiment?
Okay.
I'd like to ask Barney what he thought of the other thought experiment to see if I could replace the concept of gravity with the concept of me inputting the potential energy.
No, I already asked you why. What is causing the pressure in the water?
Yeah,
the weight
but
of itself.
We didn't get an answer.
Weight.
I did say
what
the
is
weight
calling,
about 20
what?
times. God's sake.
Oh my goodness! But the weight
Yes,
is caused
the
by
weight of-
gravity. What? Why is not weight acting upwards? Why don't we have the biggest, pressure on the top?
It does act upwards. If you take helium, drag it right the way down into a disequilibrium medium, so a medium which is more dense, it will shoot upwards.
It's lighter. That's lighter than there. Helium is lighter than there. Okay.
Yeah, so it will shoot upwards.
Buoyancy. Yep, that's buoyancy. Just like you're lighter than water, so you
That's
float.
buoyancy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just
right.
standard.
What's the
I don't
major
get
part of buoyancy?
I don't get your understanding here.
No.
Okay, so
Why doesn't your gravity
why?
go down?
Why? Wait, everyone, wait. Yeah. Okay. So why is helium going to the top of the atmosphere, not
Because
to the
that's
bottom
where
of it?
all the rest of its little helium friends are, and that's its natural equilibrium.
Oh,
Natural equilibrium. Because of gravity.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
No, because of
no,
the
no,
magnitude
forget
of
the gravity.
magnitude of density.
Wait.
There we go.
Wait.
On the flat
Wait.
Is that WAIT or WE? No,
WAIT. Okay. So let's say you have only density on buoyancy without gravity working on the Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, like it had done for 2,000 years, and Archimedes
Okay.
built one of the
No
biggest
worries.
ships.
Yeah.
Yep,
Let's
cool.
go with it. Okay.
Yep.
I give you that. There is no gravity.
Yep.
So You know them, like they are called vomit rides or vomit planes. It's not the simulators; it's the planes that go up high. Wait.
Yep. We know about that. Yes, go ahead. We know about.
Okay. Vomit comets. Oh, that's the name.
Container falling.
Yeah, that's a container. That's a closed container with equal pressure all over it, because the second law of thermodynamics, which Flash called out. So you have a container with no pressure gradient in it, yeah?
This is nothing circular. You're in for a long haul, bro. Sorry.
No, I just wish I could put it on 2x.
Listen, yeah? So you have this container with you inside. The pressure is equal everywhere in the container. And the only moment you can get any, I would say, 0G feeling is when it dives down with acceleration of 9.8 meters per second square. So, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, a falling.
How do they work? Why don't you? Because
what they do is they use these massive thrusters to get right the way up there and switch them off.
No, wait.
That's how they work.
We know where this is going. I'm sorry.
It's long.
Okay, we know where this is going. From my point of view, something inside. But wait a second. From my point of view, something inside the container, the airplane, everything should just fall down, regardless of what the container is doing. If density makes things fall, then everything inside the plane would just fall anyway, regardless of what the plane is doing.
Yeah, you will follow suit, but you'll all be floating about.
Yeah, but we don't.
You do.
It doesn't happen.
That's
when
what people pay money for.
When the plane is descending, you got microgravity or 0G, right? That's what the whole idea is.
You've got a counteraction of forces. Come on, this is silly.
Okay,
it really is silly.
Why?
It really is silly.
What forces are counteracted there?
Yep, your weight, the plane's weight, you in the plane's weight, or your weight in the plane's weight, and the amount of gravitational potential energy that has been given to the plane and you by
gravity exists.
Oh, what's a load of shite.
That is a real formula. What you want about gravitational potential energy? Look it up. Come on.
Oh dear.
No, gravity exists.
Okay, so which is it? Does gravity exist or does it not exist?
Gravitation.
Does gravity exist or does gravity not exist?
It does not exist.
I'm confused. It does not exist, but you just
why there is a gravitational pull?
Does not exist. It's an illusion.
Can I just ask Gleam something? I've got a diagram though, Sean.
No, Gleam. Why there is a gravitational pull when there is no gravity?
It's an illusion. It's acceleration.
It's okay. You don't need to keep asserting the same things to him that he's heard 1,000 times.
Yeah, but we've heard this before.
I just want to ask Gleam a question if I can.
Yeah, please, Stingray.
Right, Gleam. If you just click on me, I'm live sharing at the moment. I've got a awesome little container, and it's got two densities of matter in it.
Sure.
Density 1 and density 3. Assign them what you will. It's just a differential. What other information do you need to tell me where these are going?
I'm in Discord, not on the actual thingamajigger.
Same here. Click on my name. Same here. Click on my name and click join stream. You'll see what I'm sharing.
Oh, I see. Yeah, no, I see this earlier. Yeah, go on. Yeah, I see it.
All right, cool. So what happens here when we unfreeze the world and all forces contained within it? What happens to green and blue?
Unfreeze. So the solid ice. Yeah.
This is a snapshot in time.
Yeah,
how does the film unroll?
Yeah.
How does the movie unroll from this setup?
Okay, so that's a balloon film, let's say, around the outside, and we're popping it, and what happens?
No.
Ask them the medium, Gleam, before you continue. What medium is this taking place in?
It's inside a solid container. The red is solid. We can call it glass, anything you want.
Cool.
And then
So
we
it's a
have
solid
two,
sphere.
let's say we have two different density liquids in it, blue and green. And green has a density value of 3, and blue has a density value of 1. Assign whatever units you want to that. Like Barney said, now we unclick time and time flows. What happens?
Nothing. That stays still.
Have you tried this? What you're saying is
gravity's all pulling in.
No.
There is no gravity. There is no gravity. It's just density.
I thought you was going on this.
No. Density. What happens in your density model?
Is this a sphere or is it a disc?
Sphere.
It's a sphere. It's a solid sphere. 1 is oil and 3 is water, or 3 is mercury. Right? Liquid mercury.
Okay.
And
so two different densities.
You get them into this arrangement somehow, and this is the first. This is the first frame of your video. What happens next?
Because there will be a build-up of some sort of like pressure or something.
Are you Gleam?
No.
Do you understand the density
Okay,
model?
sorry.
Okay.
Now, in free space where there's no external forces, that would stay.
Okay, in our reality right now, in your reality of density, whatever, what happens with this?
Stays. Next frame stays. Next frame stays.
So it just absolutely stays. So you assert. So you assert that if we can have equal pressure, I can dump something in the middle of that, and there are no forces acting on it whatsoever.
Sorry, recreate that. So you can put now something in 3.
Right. So wait a minute. So wait a minute. Now I'm going to add something else here. I'm going to add another thing. Wait a minute. 2.
We're on frame 3 of the video.
Wait a minute. 2. So this now is 1. And 2.
Sure. So you've just filled it up, and it's half of it. Is it separated, or are these now?
These are half. Like 1 and 2 are half spheres. 1 and 2 are half spheres. Okay. What happens to 3? But we can treat it like a cross section. It wouldn't make.
Yeah. No.
1 is oil. 2 is water. 3 is mercury.
3 would slightly raise due to the buoyancy effect.
Right, so 3 pushes away from 2.
A net effect on this. So this needs to now be put on Earth. So if I now attach a pole on Earth, this is how this would go. This can no longer be in free space.
What?
So we're on Earth now, and this is a bowl, like a Tesla ball. And we have this.
When were we ever off Earth?
Yeah.
I was on a thought experiment in free space.
No. All
this whiteness, because this is the flat Earth model, that's white matter.
So, if there is no gravity, it doesn't matter whether we're on Earth or there is. We don't know what else there is, right?
But there is a governing order of magnitude of density.
And this is what we've got enclosed in this model, Glenn.
No, this is it, and I'm there now. I'm there with you. So as long as we're attaching this onto a lollipop stick type thing on Earth.
No. What's Earth got to do with it? What's Earth got? I know. I thought the same thing then.
Right. Okay. Now, what happens with this is 3 would fall down, and 2.
Wait a minute. There is no down in here. What about if it doesn't matter which?
There would be if it's on Earth, because then there is an order of magnitude.
So down is the direction towards Earth. Okay, we agree about something. Fair enough.
Yes. So let's just say.
How is down affecting an enclosed system in here, though, Gleam?
Hang on.
This is solid.
This would have to mean that the floor that we are walking on is more than 3. Okay? Because then that would be its natural order. If you could imagine like a density tower.
So what invisible force then is passing through the red solid to affect these things inside?
None.
So how is any force getting through that red solid with you saying that 3 drops?
None. The system is adjusting to match it. It's just like you put a hot load of half bath water into a cold one.
So there is no outside. Okay.
May I, please?
Yeah, go for it, man.
So the things inside that object will adjust their position according to the equilibrium of densities and arrange themselves as best they can, right?
Yes.
Excuse me.
Will they move? Will they move while they're doing that?
Excuse me.
Wait, don't. So if they haven't been moving, and then they will move to adjust to a new position.
Yes.
They will have to accelerate and decelerate to reach that position, right?
Sure. Yes.
And they have mass.
Yes.
And what is the definition of a force?
It's exactly that. So it's the mass times the acceleration.
So what force is acting upon them?
Their own.
What
mass
force is giving
in
them that
equilibrium.
acceleration?
Their own weight, basically, which is how their mass acts within that medium.
No.
Yes, and you have just defined gravity. That is literally the definition of gravity.
And it's
that
to do
force,
with the concept.
that force which arranges mass.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Said, Barney,
yeah, that's just gravity.
You're both using 2 different words to describe exactly the same thing.
Thank you, Barney.
So buoyancy and density is exactly that.
Wait a minute, I came up with the example as well. But wait, so anyway, putting a weight here, putting density of 20 here. That
changed it to relative density. That's
so putting density here of 20 makes no difference to 1, 3, or 2 inside this container, correct?
Yeah, I could describe it 10 times better than this.
It's not connected. But wait a minute, what if I were to zoom this out a little bit and say that the Earth is down here? Would you have a different, the Earth is there?
Yeah.
Would you have a different idea about what happens now?
Yeah, let me explain it. And you'll understand. You've got a density tower, 3 layers. Yeah. Now the middle layer is the same and equal density as a cherry tomato. You put the cherry tomato in the middle, it's at rest within its medium, which is its same density. What you do is you get tweezers. Now, in order to disturb this from its natural resting place,
where's the egg?
You need to push it down. No, this is it. This is explaining the whole of Antony's thing, but in a better way, where in order to take it out of equilibrium, you need to apply a force to it. So you either need to push it down and you push it down into the other medium and it will find its natural equilibrium point and come back up, or you pinch it and you drag it upwards into the less dense medium and you let go as soon as you stop applying your force, it will return to equilibrium again.
I've got a fucking question.
It's exactly the
same
thing.
What are the forces that are bringing it back into equilibrium?
Yes.
Yeah. You got what? Sorry.
Okay.
What are the forces bringing it back into equilibrium?
The forces.
Yes.
There is no forces. You've already given it the potential by giving it the force.
But something's got to pull it back through the other mediums.
Something gives that mass acceleration. That is the force. What force is it that moves them?
That is its natural need to be in equilibrium. If you've taken it out of equilibrium, it's going to want to go back to equilibrium.
So
that is gravity.
If I get rid of my phone, does it go back to Korea?
This is the disconnect which you don't understand.
No,
and this is why
your disconnect, mate.
It is not, because you're both describing the same thing.
Mine goes back to China, by the way.
You're both describing the same thing.
To go back through the mediums, it needs something to push it or pull it.
It doesn't.
It's not just an equilibrium. It needs something to act upon it.
You've already
it can't contain the energy from you. You can't transfer your energy to the brain.
So you push it down into the bottom medium and you hold it there.
How did you transfer your energy into that product?
Because you've pushed it. You've created.
No, how did you transfer your energy into that product?
By pushing it.
No,
God's
your
sake,
energy.
You are transferring your energy, your friction,
How?
your kinetic energy. By getting
how
the
are you
tweezers.
transferring the energy from your muscles into that?
How do I contract my muscles using electrostatics? This is what I believe it is. But
yeah, but how did you transfer it to the grape tomato?
I had to put my hand on these tweezers, pick these tweezers up, do a similar thing, but then push down on the top of the tomato and apply force to the top of the tomato.
So your calories transferred from you to the tomato. Did the tomato change weight?
No, it doesn't need to, because
right then, you didn't transfer any energy to the tomato then.
When you release it, that's when it releases it, and that's Newton's third, isn't it?
No, but you didn't transfer any of your energy to that tomato. You haven't changed the mass of the tomato by putting energy into it.
It's used in its return. This is it, and that's where you say gravity is.
Okay, once you let go of the tomato, how is that energy returned to you?
Acting on it.
If you've let go of the tomato, how is that energy returned to you?
It doesn't return to you, it returns to the system that you put it in.
Yes, but you just took it out of your system, put it into the tomato, and now you're saying that energy returns back to you as it goes back to equilibrium.
No, you have...
That is using your logic.
No, not at all. You were twisted my logic. My logic is you give an object potential, and that object will return that potential in forms of kinetic.
Yes, but if you've increased the energy of that product, you will have increased its mass.
Only fractionally, come on. You're talking
but you don't.
Minor.
The weight of that product does not change.
Increases mass.
The weight of that product does not change.
Not measurably. But it will do.
No,
it
won't.
Quantum scale.
No,
with movement, it would.
No.
Liam, are you familiar with the Cartesian diver?
Oh, I missed the last bit. Cartesian, and that was it.
Cartesian diver.
No, go on.
Cartesian diver is a kid's experiment. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Where you take a plastic bottle and you put a capsule with some air in it, or a bag with some air in it.
Sure.
And then you squeeze the bottle. Like, close it, fill it with water, put the diver, it floats on top. And then you squeeze the bottle and the diver dives. Then you release the bottle and the diver goes up.
Sure.
How does that work with your pressure density thing?
In the same way. You've got air pressure and you've got a differential.
What causes the pressure?
And this is the thing. This is the exact thing.
What causes the pressure?
On a flat Earth model,
there's
orders
force,
of magnitude of density. Would it do that? Would it change? Would it change any direction if you hadn't acted upon it yourself?
There is a force.
Excuse me.
You are introducing a force.
Gleam.
It would not do it on itself.
What direction does the force that you have introduced have?
It would be the balance of whatever forces it would be. So if it goes up, then you've got the force of the actual air within the bottle being more buoyant than the actual...
air is a force, is it?
Wait, please. The statements of, well, it is what it is, are useless if we're discussing what it is, right? It would be what it would be. What would happen? Well, whatever happened would happen is not an answer, right?
Yeah.
It's with all due respect, it's a conceptual change, not a mathematical change. The observations don't change.
But with all due respect, it's like saying the sun is a light in the sky. It doesn't actually say what it is. And you're doing the same here. There is a force applied. Okay? In that experiment, that child's experiment, I did.
Yes, you.
That force should have a direct. You have applied a force. Now, the acceleration should be in the same direction as the force. Which direction have you applied the force when you squeeze the bottle?
Not necessarily, because if your direction of where you're pushing it is underwater, let's say, if you're holding a ball underwater,
And this is why we don't believe anything you say, because you can't answer a direct question, mate.
Yeah, please answer the question.
I was answering the question.
No, please answer the specific question.
The direction, yeah, if you're saying the direction is down, yeah, and you're holding it down, you're
not holding it
overcoming.
down. You're not holding it down.
Excuse
Surely
me.
you have to. Surely you have to when you squeeze the
I have
bottle.
one question.
No, you squeeze it
I have
side to
one
side.
question about. I have one question about density and buoyancy.
Wait
and
there,
that.
we haven't got past this bit yet.
No,
You're
just
skipping.
one question. So that really dense things like your brain. No, that does not exist. Sorry.
For
You know
fuck's sake.
that dense things would like to rather run away into less dense area rather than into.
How drunk are you?
Always drunk, permanently drunk. Anyway, Barney, so to repeat that, you asked for the vector direction.
Yes.
Is that correct? The vector direction, there would be a natural orders of magnitude of density. No,
That's
wait
like
there,
saying
hang
the
on.
sun
Hang
is
on.
like
you
the sky.
interrupted.
What the fuck
Hang
does
on.
magnitude have to do with it?
That's like saying that the sun is a light in the sky.
Are you ready for the answer, or do you not want it?
Sorry.
No,
Shall I
my
run away
question
from
is
the
magnitude
answer?
or density.
Or shall you just cut off me off?
Go ahead.
It's not.
Can you search the
magnitude
natural
of-
orders of magnitude of density?
That
Do you,
doesn't
does
say
none of
anything.
you know
magnitude
that
of
is?
density? It's pressure
It's like
gradient.
So we don't
It's
agree.
caused by
We don't agree that in
gravity.
general the more dense stuff is underneath our feet, and the
What
less dense
causes
stuff.
that differential?
No, you're now changing. You're not answering my question.
No, you never answered the
How
question.
come your head is above your feet?
Answer Barney's original question.
Well, this is exactly what I'm telling you. I'm answering in it, but you're telling me there is not more dense stuff below my feet and less dense stuff up above.
But then why's your head up?
Are you mad?
Well, your head
Barney,
weighs more than
Barney.
your feet.
It's
Barney, could you
adjoined and it
possibly-
takes
wait,
muscles
Gleam,
to push that up there.
Gleam, hang on.
And
Barney,
keep
could
that
you please
there in
restate
structure. You're an
and
idiot.
reiterate in
Come
some
on.
way the question, please?
You're asking me a question, cutting me off, and then telling me I'm.
I need
You're
it
mad.
reinstated. I've forgotten the question already.
I know the question. I'm trying to get it out. It's the natural
No,
order
'cause
of
you can't
magnitude.
answer a
It's the natural
fucking
order of
question.
magnitude which gives you the vector direction.
Natural order
There
of
we go.
magnitude of what?
That doesn't mean anything.
Density. I just
That's
said.
the problem. That's
Yeah,
the
but what's
problem.
causing
Look at
that
it.
density to have a vector?
Claim, you said in that example that I just showed you that I drew
It's
you
molecular structure. There we go.
that you would not be able to give me a force vector, and that me introducing different densities into the center
It's
would
as soon
not
as you
move.
introduce disequilibrium. As soon as you introduce a force and put the system into a disequilibrium.
Disequilibrium is an economic statement, has nothing to do with science.
Sake, you're so
No,
pedantic.
it does.
Yeah, he is.
It does.
We are all pedantic in here.
Yeah, well, either way,
point-
the vector
the
direction
point-
is the order of magnitude. Attack that argument, not me.
The point of neutral buoyancy is the point of gravitational equilibrium.
Yes, equilibrium, not disequilibrium. That term comes from an economic statement.
Anything that's not at equilibrium is an
It's just not at equilibrium. No.
Yes, is in disequilibrium. Right?
Yeah, but
That
also
means
this relative density thing
that
has to
means
deal
that there
with
is some.
the cubic meter of water.
That means that there is some force acting on the system such that the normal force is not zero. That is literally what disequilibrium means.
Yes.
If I had a
Okay.
stack of the same.
May I ask one question?
Go on.
You
Yeah,
are
just
talking
take
about.
another hour.
You are talking about.
Let me get a cup of tea. Meditating.
Density
No, I'm not on about that.
disequilibrium. Density disequilibrium. Was that what were you talking about?
Yeah, look over at the door. though. Who's
Density
at the door?
disequilibrium. Okay. So where you like see or experience this density in equilibrium? Where about?
In rock. When you dig stuff, it gets real more dense all the time.
Rock. But how is that equalized?
Okay.
No, it's at rest.
Okay.
In its
Do you
intents
feel
purposes.
do you feel the density in equilibrium as soon as you put your head under water in your backyard pool?
No, because it's not in equilibrium, is it? Human bodies.
But you do feel that
Equilibrium is
pressure going
Humans are not actually all
higher.
water. Quite a bit will, but not all.
Well, if you have a pool in your backyard, and it's apparently 10 feet deep,
how do you know?
Moment
it could be
you
refracted.
Oh, that's something you shared with us on one of the chats somewhere. So if you have a swimming pool in your backyard,
yeah, I'm there with you. Have we got
so if when you jump into the swimming, and you go down to the bottom of it, so you can push your way all the way.
I've got a
up,
flat brick down there. I can see it. I'm there.
Lovely, bro. So, when you go down there, do you feel any change in your ears, like something pressing on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
how do you
that's
think?
Water pressure. You know that second order.
Yeah,
effect
that's
that we
water
talked
pressure.
about
Yeah.
an hour.
Cool,
Yeah, that one.
cool.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that anymore.
Yeah,
Can you shut up?
it's no, because you want to talk about gravity, and
you're talking about the same thing, and we're just going over the same thing. I'm trying to answer this orders of magnitude.
No, but because you do not give the answer, it's not about density.
Is it not?
What is causing the change in density?
Have a look in the chat, and you might see.
Yeah, got a question for you.
It's a natural order.
All right. If you've got a cubic inch of lead and a cubic inch of mercury, which one's going to sink?
I don't know. Whichever's.
Can I ask a question? When I've got a sec.
Before you guys go,
have a look up in my list. I've just put the full list there in the chat.
But I just asked you.
Yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that I'm gonna be wrapping it up pretty soon. You guys can continue the conversation. If you guys like, if anyone wanted to, have a final thought. I'm not gonna go down the list. If you wanted to say something, final thought, go ahead. If not, I'm gonna go ahead.
I just want to show Gleam this diagram and ask him what happens and what does he expect and how does he explain something. So, Gleam,
you could do that after, or you could.
Yeah, Sean wants to say au revoir.
Yeah. Continue on. But I'm gonna say goodbye. Gleam, thank you for joining. I always appreciate it when you're here, my friend.
Oneness.
And everyone else, that wasn't just, but he doesn't come around so often, so an honor when he is here. Barney, I know you're in here making some suggestions and explaining things, so I do appreciate that. And everyone else that was. John, I know you were in here doing it. I don't want to name everyone, but I don't want to light. Davros, kind of. Davros is like subpar. He's like the guy who starts off the conversation so we can explain it better.
Well, he's upside down anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Well, no, not in my reference frame.
All right, I'll be back, guys. I would end this real quick. I'll be right back.
Cheers, Sean.
Yep.
Cheers,
you guys.
Cheers, Sean.
All right, guys. So that's going to be the end of the stream. God, what to say? I like Adam. I love you, my friend. But damn, you take forever to sprint it out. But that's you. It's no words at all. I like you anyway. hope you guys enjoyed the stream. It's going to be this type of thing. I know it turned into Flat Earth, but hey, it's a weekend. I didn't have to be any part of it, so do I care? Again, I don't care if I'm not involved in it. Then you guys can talk about it all you want, but I'm not going to entertain it. What was I going to say? I had something planned. Again, yeah, I'm pretty pissed off about the Travis thing, especially because he was there all day actually and didn't say shit. He's actually in that area still, hasn't responded. I think it's a slap in the face, so whatever. But with that said, I got plans for tonight, so I'm going out. I'm going to a spot, hopefully, that some pictures will be taken anyway, so I'll have some nice pictures. I hope you guys like the backgrounds. I got some new backgrounds I'm going to start trying out. And other than that, just thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate it. You have no idea. With that being said, guys, enjoy the music. I'm going to play that for a little bit, but peace.